are live and in color. First episode of the Be Ready Sports podcast. I'm so used to being on Bruce's show. I got to kill this echoes that I got here. My apologies. First show. I don't know. I guess it's first show. Jitters.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, first show.
So as you can see, oh, what in the world? I'm trying to get. I was getting a lag here. I was getting a lag here. As you can see, our first guest here is the one and only Bruce Hope from the Format Podcast. So give it up for Bruce.
Let's go.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this podcast is you are the inspiration for us to do this show. You gave us our blessing, and I appreciate you all at all time for this. What I'm going to say
Absolutely.
is, I wasn't going to do this until later this year, and I didn't, I wasn't, I was kind of afraid to tell Bruce. This is the first time he ever heard this, but I was afraid to tell Bruce because I thought Bruce was going to jump down my throat. Like, what are you talking about? You want to do a podcast all of a sudden? I'll let you guess on my show a couple times, and now you want to do your own podcast. But nah, he was the opposite. He was receptive. He was like, "Man, go ahead, just do it." He was like, "Hey, if you got any questions, man, just hit me up. We go on the video together, and I'll show you what to do." And that's exactly what he did. And we're here. You welcome me with open arms. So Bruce will be forever my brother for that because that was, he didn't have to do that. And all the success we get is attributed to you, Bruce. You don't want to help us get started.
Yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate that, fellas. But whatever success you get is attributed to your own hard work and dedication to this, man. So, but thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the shout out, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Let me move that. We are streaming on two different services, so I forgot to mute the YouTube one on my end, so I
Mm,
was hearing the delay in my headset. I know you
gotcha.
guys weren't hearing it, so I was hearing the delay in my
A
headset. I was
little
like,
bit.
"What's
Making
going
you
on?"
crazy, right? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, first show jitters. First show jitters.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Steve.
King of
Uh,
the chat.
he's gonna be the king of my chat too. The first
That's
one
right.
here. Shout out to Stevie Steve.
Yes, sir.
So before we get started, and I bring in our guest Bruce, I want to talk a little bit about my co-host Carlos here. Um, I've been knowing this young man since he was a puppy.
Puppy.
As you can see, he's all full grown now, and he's about to head out on this world on his own in about a year. So shout out to Carlos. He wants to be a broadcaster. So when he approached me about doing a podcast, I did this exact same thing Bruce did. I said, "Look, man, you've been calling games, you've been putting extreme, wonderful sports content on your Instagram page. You should definitely do it."
That's right.
But then he hit me up and he said, I want to do it together with you." And I was like, "This is after I already talked to Bruce, and we was already going to get this thing going." And I was like, "Okay, let's go." So we worked it out, and we're here.
Yes, sir.
So, um, so Carlos,
Yes,
tell the
sir.
our audience a little bit about yourself, your inspirations, what colleges you want to go to, and so forth. Tell them a little bit about you.
All right, sup, y'all. My name's Carlos Rios. 17 years old, currently in the 11th grade. I currently play basketball here in South Florida. My passion to broadcasting started when I was a young kid. You know what I mean? When I was young, you know what I mean? I have a little brother that also plays basketball. Um, like one of his games, like I just went live on Instagram and just started talking. You know what I mean? Just commentating his games, and then from there, it just started something. You know what I mean? It just started something, and I started to like it. Like each and every single Instagram live, I started to grow passion into it. And then, when I told Tony that I wanted to start this podcast, like I want to grow this broadcast and journalism thingy. Like I want to grow it. Like like obviously starting a podcast is the first step to it. You know what I mean? You know, like I want people to hear my voice. You know what I mean? Instead of not for people to not see my face. You know what I mean? Like I want people to see my face. Hear my voice on like all the hot sports topics. You know what I mean? And, the goal. ESPN. You know what I mean? All those high level networks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it all starts right here in the sports podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it starts with one open door, and then you go through that door, and then the others will follow. So we wish you nothing but success, Carlos. I will be following your journey, and I'm
Yes,
pretty sure
sir.
Bruce is going to do it the same. And I hope our audience do the same, man. We wish you nothing but success.
Yes, sir.
So now the man of the hour, Senor Bruce.
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 Brucey.
Yes.
Just a little bit about Bruce before we open the floor for Bruce. Um, he's we. I'm former military. He's former
Okay.
military as well.
Yes.
Um, he also went into journalism in college. Uh, he did but we back then it was go out there, you
Yeah,
write an article, and
The
he
old
was out
days.
there in the yeah
Wasn't
he
that
was
long
out
ago?
he was out there he was out there in the trenches. So he was out there in the
Little bit.
trenches. You had to write an article, then you had to fight with your editor to get it published. So those were if y'all watch Spider-Man, that's if y'all fans of Spider-Man, that's how journalism was before social media and podcasting became big. Like you grinded for what you wanted, and then you had to fight with your editor because you have like 10 other guys trying to get their stories published on that front page. So so that was a dog fight. And then from there, um, Bruce, started his podcast, and yeah. So Bruce,
Yes, sir.
so what? So tell us a little bit of how you got started. What inspired you to go into that career path of journalism as a
Yeah.
young, as a youngster.
So actually, I wasn't even thinking about journalism as a youngster, to be honest. When I was a kid, like I was always good at writing, and so that was just like creative writing more so. That was one of those things I just did a lot. And then as time went on, you grow up, and I got married. I had a kid, and times were kind of hard, and I hadn't finished school yet, and so I was like, you know what? I was just at work one day, just a regular retail job, and an Army recruiter walked in, and I was talking to him, and basically from there, I ended up going into the Army, and I was actually doing IT work. I was in the Signal Corps, and so doing like help desk stuff, satellite communications, that kind of thing. So I'm doing that. Served 9 years, get out, medical discharge, finish that up, get out, and then I'm working IT at a help desk at a bank. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like, that was never really my passion. Like, but sports was always my passion. I always loved sports from the time I was a kid, and then high school and all. I always loved sports, crazy about sports. And then, like, I remember it was one point I'm watching one of these sports shows, whatever. I think this is back when First Take was still Cold Pizza. So this is to tell you how way back that was. So I'm watching Cold Pizza, and they're talking about something on the show, and I said something, and like 30 seconds later, they say the exact same thing I say. And my wife was literally like, why don't you go to school and learn how to do this so you can get paid for it instead of watching them and saying what they're saying for free? you know, and I hadn't really thought about it too much. You know, like I said, went in the military, did that, came out, still doing IT. But then I went back to school at University of North Florida here in Jacksonville. And that's when I went and I was studying communications with a concentration in multimedia journalism and production. And so it's funny, like we what's up, Transformer? We started learning about like how to cut video and do audio and all those different things. And again, I'm still kind of old school in my mentality at this time, and all I'm thinking is I want to write because I loved writing, right? I just want to write. And I remember one time my professor, Dr. Daly, who coincidentally had worked for ESPN previously, he's like, I know you want to write, Bruce, but I'm trying to help you have a job in 10 years, because he saw where the landscape was going with print journalism kind of unfortunately going out of what is it, no longer being in vogue. I mean, you still get some stuff, but it's not nearly what it once was, right? And so now the bigger thing is, as you mentioned, Coach T, the bigger thing is social media. The bigger thing is this type of presence right here, podcasting, etc. And I think it was shortly actually before I went to school at UNF, when I was still working on the help desk at the bank, I started doing an audio podcast because I had a buddy and we used to debate sports all the time. And he's like, man, you should do a podcast, you know? And at the time he was like, call it the Bruce Breakdown, right? And I was like, that's not bad. And the Bruce Breakdown. I had my earliest episodes, I had a segment called the Bruce Breakdown. But anyway, I started doing the audio podcast, and then I started like reaching out to people in the sports media, begging them to come on my show. And the first person I reached out to that really responded, that has any sort of name in the sports media, was Rob Parker from he's on Fox Sports 1 now. He does what's the show? I can't remember the name, but he has a show. He used to be on it with Chris Broussard every evening from 7 to 10 Eastern time, right? And now he's on with Kelvin Washington. So anyway, Rob Parker is a guy that, you know, he's a longtime sports journalist since like the mid 80s, award-winning writer, so on and so forth, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame voter, all that. So he was kind enough to actually answer me and to come on to my show. And because it was him, I said, all right, man, I'm going to record this. At the time, I don't know anything about overlays and all that. And like the very first video I've ever done was this interview with Rob Parker's 20, 30 minutes long. And I was so proud of it. If you go back and look, it's the very first video on my channel, and you can see that it's The Odd Couple. Thank you, Steve. You can see that it's the very first video on my channel. It looks totally different in terms of production value and all that. But anyway, the point is, I did that video, and then my uncle was like, listen, you got to start doing YouTube content, right? People want to go on YouTube. I think it's like the third or fourth most popular search engine in the world. He's like, yeah, go on YouTube. People go on there, blah, blah, blah. And so then I started developing the podcast on YouTube, and, you know, it's gotten to the point where you see the Format Podcast is now, which, you know, it's still technically in terms of volume, a small podcast, but definitely growing, continuing to work. You know, I got my guys, Transformer. He's in the chat right now. He's on there with me as my co-host, and my other co-host, G. We served in the Army together, and we have a great time. We love doing that show, man, and that's what we do. But in terms of, before I wrap this up, when I was doing some writing and stuff like that, because I worked for a small newspaper here in Jacksonville, I did that. But also prior to that, I interned at the Florida Times-Union, which is the largest paper in Jacksonville, on their sports desk when I was in college. And that gave me, you know, a lot of great opportunities. My first ever article that I wrote for a real publication with a byline, which is where, you know, they put by whoever wrote it. And that's such a prideful thing for me. I got to cover the Arena League championship game, and the Jacksonville Sharks won that year. And then, you know, I got to cover UCF football because the guy that was running the sports desk, his son is the assistant athletic director at UCF. So he's like, look, if you go down there, we got your passes and everything, you can go cover that. That was UCF Stanford. Tiger Woods was on the sideline. He's Stanford alum, as you guys know. Dylan Gabriel was still at UCF at this time. I got to cover that game. Josh Heupel was still the coach at UCF. So, I mean, that was fantastic. I got the opportunity. I covered multiple Jags games, both for the Florida Times-Union as well as for the Florida Star newspaper. Shout out Florida Star. I got to cover the I want to say the 2022 Gator Bowl, Notre Dame versus Notre Dame versus South Carolina. Notre Dame won, and won pretty much on the last second. It was incredible. And so, I mean, I've been blessed to cover a lot of really cool things. I was super happy about that. And yeah, so now I'm in the podcast space. I love doing it. It's a great opportunity to get my thoughts out there and literally reach people on the other side of the world. You guys will find this out. That's one of the coolest things when you're doing this type of show, is that you might get somebody in the chat and that person might be from Ireland, or somebody who leaves a comment on your video and that person might be from, you know, Philippines or Korea or something like that. And that's super cool. You know what I'm saying? And you guys, you're going to love this. And so, yeah, that's my spiel, man. So I'm in the podcast space now and I love doing it.
Okay. Also, just note that this will be the first and final time you will see green on this podcast. This is only to work for Bruce to make him feel at home.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
So that was real talk, Bruce. That's a tremendous journey that you went through.
Yeah.
You know, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
You know, but you getting on the podcast and the scene, I got attracted to your show.
Appreciate that.
Because I like it was more like no slight to all the other podcasts that's out there, but I've been on some where they're not very friendly to their callers.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't agree, if they don't align with their beliefs, they hang up on you.
Okay.
At least Bruce, whether he don't agree with your opinion or your stance on the topic, he at least lets you address your opinion, and then he gives his side. Y'all might go back and forth, but at least he gives you the opportunity to, address your opinion. So I felt more home, as you can say, with Bruce's podcast. So that's why I became a member. And so, like I said, a lot of respect there.
Appreciate that, man.
Now,
yes,
we're gonna talk. We got to talk about this, man, because I don't like that all the people that I get along with, except for Transformer, who's in the chat, shout out to Transformer, are always rivals to my squads, man.
That's weird how that happened, huh?
I get along with my rivals, which is crazy. Like every team, like I'm USC, Notre Dame, arch rivals.
Yes.
I'm a Laker fan. Celtics.
Yes.
Rivals.
Yeah. The rivals.
Yeah, it's like
the
only thing we're not rivaling in football, but except for he beat us in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Ravens, 49ers.
That's correct.
They beat us in the Super Bowl.
We did.
But I don't get it. Why is that, Bruce? What is up with
I don't know.
And Lucky? You like the Lucky mascot team.
So
Well, I know Notre Dame's a Christian university, which I got a lot of respect for that. That's not why we're rivals.
Right.
It's not the school itself. It's the sports aspect.
Yeah, of course.
Other than that, I got a lot of respect for Notre Dame. They stand on they're a Christian school, but they're the most gangster school because they stand on their own. They're like, you're not going to tell us who we're going to play. You're not going to tell us where we're going to play. You're not going to tell us who we're going to, what we're going to do. We're going to do what we want to do. Yeah, we got the bread to pay for it.
Yes, sir.
Because to be independent is very expensive.
Yes.
You don't have the backing of your conference.
Of a conference, that's right.
Yeah. So you standing on your own. So like I said, that's the most gangsters thing ever. It's to watch Notre Dame. So maybe, Steve will stay on the show now that I gave Notre Dame their flowers.
No doubt. You know what's funny, Coach T? My
man, you can call me Laker Nation.
My big brother is a big Lakers fan as well. So yeah,
Oh,
you're
shout
not
out to your
alone.
big
You're
brother.
surrounded by him. Yeah. He's a big Lakers fan.
So,
He,
Um,
he needs to call in on both of our shows.
I don't know what's up with that dude, man. He don't call it. Obviously Transformer, big Laker fan as well. You know, that's my guy. So yeah, it's weird. I find myself around Laker fans as well. Not sure why that keeps happening, but it is what it is.
Hey, we
Yeah.
for some reason we it's like a magnet. We attract pause to each other.
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah,
You pause.
gotcha.
So Carlos,
What's up?
we know college football. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
we're gonna touch on college football later in the show. You know,
Yes, sir. Yep.
Carlos is a big college football guy. Bruce is a big college football guy.
Man.
That's going to be a nice topic later on in the show because we're going to talk about the NIL and how
Can't wait.
it's
Oh, yeah.
crippling the sport. But
Mm.
Carlos,
Yes, sir.
share with the audience and Bruce your favorite college football team, your favorite college football team.
Favorite college football team?
Yeah.
How about I just show you? Oh, let's go Knowles. Let's go
I
Knowles,
like that.
man. Hey,
Hey, that was cold blooded right there, man. He said, "I'm he gonna
Yeah.
fit right into the
Hey.
podcasting world, right, Bruce?
Yeah, he is. I love it.
He got the swagger."
Yes.
even though we had a 2-win season, but hey, next year's gonna be a bounce back year. I'm telling you that right now. It's gonna be a bounce back year next year.
Yeah, and who is your big rivals? One of your big rivals?
Oh, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Oh,
You.
we said horn down.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how you rep them.
Use
By the
that.
way,
Wow.
Notre Dame does take on Miami this year.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sunday night, live from Hard Rock Stadium. You know.
That's right.
Okay, quick question for Bruce, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is the nickname of the Canes versus Irish rivalry?
Catholics versus convicts.
Yup, Catholics versus convicts. You're bringing back to the 90s.
Yes, sir. Late
Yeah.
80s, actually. Yeah,
late
late
80s,
80s.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Wow.
well before you, Carlos. Well before you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If
Yeah,
there's
they're bringing
Kane,
it
if
back to-
there's my bad. If there's Canes fans in here, don't call in. Don't try to call in and try to come for Carlos, man. Come on.
Hey.
You got to. Hey, that's what it is. All right. So, oh yeah, we supposed to be trying to get to that game, Bruce. That Notre Dame.
Yeah, we gotta see. Yeah, we gotta see
Miami
what's
game.
good with that, man.
Hey.
Yeah, I know he's gonna give me. We're probably gonna do we're probably gonna do a live during that USC Notre Dame game, so we can trash talk each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That USC, yep.
And
Yeah,
Bruce says it's gonna be a one-sided conversation.
yeah. It's gonna be in South Bend. You know how y'all get when it gets a little chilly outside.
Oh, shots
Yeah.
fired!
Shots fired.
Shots fired! But
Oh man.
oh yeah, but they have the edge in our rivalry, unfortunately.
Not by a lot. Not by a
Y'all
lot.
got y'all got the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we can get our act together. Cause man, Transformer.
You're welcome, 16.
One thing that I will we do take calls on this show, but it's a little different. Instead of a phone number, what we're gonna do on here is there's a link pinned in the chat. So what you would do is you'll click on that link and you will come on set with us to for your call in. So you actually will be part of the show. Not saying calling in you're not a part of the show, but we're gonna make it more intimate. Pause. That you're gonna be part of the show.
Yes.
So, Carlos,
Yes, sir.
bring in the. Do you have any questions for Bruce before we go into our first major topic?
Yes, a couple questions.
Yeah.
All right, so Bruce.
Yes, sir.
All right, so when did you get into broadcasting?
So less broadcasting and more so traditional journalism. As I was telling you, I started out writing, but I have done a little bit of broadcasting. Actually, I for my alma mater, University of North Florida, I actually called a women's basketball game. I did color on ESPN3 maybe 2 years ago, and that was an amazing experience. But I've done very little broadcasting. But in terms of journalism on the whole, that would have been about 2019. That was the year I graduated, and the year from UNF, and that was the year that I did my internship at the Florida Times Union. So officially, it would be like 2019.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. Did you play any sports when you were younger?
Lot of pickup basketball, a lot of like neighborhood football, and it's funny. My senior year, I went out for the basketball team, and I got cut, and they won the city championship that year. So I wasn't happy about that.
Man,
So like I spent all summer playing ball, trying to get my game together. But what I really should have been doing was just working more conditioning and drills. If I would have made the team if I had concentrated on that. But you know, that wasn't the path for me, clearly.
Yes, sir. All right. So now let's go into your military experience, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So how long have you been in the military?
So I served in the Army for 9 years.
9 years in the Army.
Mhm.
All right. Sure. That's all for me.
All right.
That's all for
He
me.
kept it brief.
he kept it brief.
Yeah. He's like, I want to get to the sports talk.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be Lakers in 5 anymore. So, yesterday's game kind of took care of that narrative. I ain't gonna say narrative, but it kind of took away from that. So it's gonna be Lakers in 7.
Bruce agrees with you.
Yeah, I'm agree on that. Lakers and
Yeah, I do. I see it now. Look. Shout out to Bruce. Shout out to Brucey. All dogs go to heaven. Ocean's 11. Trump's Lakers 7.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's classic. That's
Hey, I
classic.
like that. Hey.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
no Transformer has
Go
to troll you,
Navy,
Bruce.
beat Army.
I mean, do we have to
All right, so
anchors away?
we're gonna. I'm gonna let Carlos bring in the first topic, but we're gonna go into the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
So
Or do you
as
wanna talk
I bring the bracket up on the screen, Carlos, go ahead and bring in the topic.
All right, first we're gonna talk about the NBA playoffs. As you guys know, first round is underway.
Yeah.
As of right now, as this podcast is being broadcasted, OKC just won against Memphis. They're moving on to the second round. Nuggets Clippers currently going on right now, 40-36. Denver right now, they're up right now by 4 points in game 4 right now. Lakers T-Wolves. Obviously, last night's game made the T-Wolves go up 2-1 over the Lakers. Rockets Warriors in primetime tonight in game 3, live from Golden State. Cavs in Miami. Cavaliers just won. They won by 37 earlier this afternoon. Possibly a sweep. Pacers and Bucks. The Bucks got on the board 2-1. Game 4 is down the line. Knicks, Pistons. Knicks won a nail biter in Detroit. They won a nail biter in Detroit. The Knicks are up 2-1. And then Boston and Orlando on the board. They're still down 2-1. Game 4 in Orlando.
Awesome. Good job, Carlos. So before we get Bruce's picks, we already got OKC in the second round.
Right.
But who do you have moving on into the Elite Eight of the NBA? Carlos?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the OKC Grizzlies series, I originally had OKC in 5, but obviously that's not going to happen. A sweep. So OKC moves on. I got Denver in 7. That Clippers Nuggets series, it's pretty intimidating series. Denver's at home for game 7. Give me Denver. Lakers, T-Wolves. That one's going to go into a game 7, definitely. The T-Wolves with Anthony Edwards. That team is a really good team in the playoffs. but I got Lakers in 7, winning at home.
Okay, good, because I almost kicked you off the pod.
Yeah, I got Lakers in 7.
I'm just kidding.
Rockets, Warriors. I got Warriors in 5. I got Warriors in 5.
Ooh,
Yeah, man.
Warriors.
The experience of that Warriors team is gonna knock off the Rockets. Cleveland, Miami. I got Cleveland 5. I got Cleveland 5. Even though it's not looking like it right now, but I don't know if the White Hot Heat can. I don't know, get one. Let's see that Pacers Bucks series. I got Pacers. I got Pacers in 6. Yeah, I'm gonna get Pacers in 6 winning on the road. Knicks, Pistons, gritty series, probably the most grittiest series so far in this playoffs. I got Knicks. I got Knicks winning in 6. And then Boston, Orlando. I got Boston in 5.
Oh, Boston and Bruce gonna love that pick. Steve, we're gonna give Carlos some reprieve here. This is his very first podcast. So, so for a young man doing doing his first podcast, it can be intimidating at times. So we're gonna give him a little reprieve, Steve.
All right.
Let's have a little patience, okay? But we appreciate you, Steve. We're not putting Carlos on the 16th, okay?
On the 16th. All right.
We have to update you on that joke after the
Yes.
show. So you understand.
Yeah, please update me on that.
Bruce.
Yes, sir.
What are your picks for the first round?
So I had previously picked OKC. Obviously, they're through. I have the Clippers in 6. I think Clippers in 6. Actually, I have the Lakers in 7. I have the
say that again, man. Come on, we didn't hear you. We didn't hear you.
I have
Say that a little louder. I say that a little louder, Bruce.
I have the Lakers in 7. Yeah, I think they're gonna win. Originally, I would have thought 6, but the thought now of the Lakers getting 3 in a row is kind of iffy to me. So I think it's got to be Lakers in 7, but they will win this series. They just between LeBron and between LeBron and Luka, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. But hey, I would love to see the Timberwolves pull the upset. I would, for obvious reasons. But I have Golden State winning 4-2 over the Rockets. The Rockets, they're going to play them tough. They're not afraid. They just don't have enough. That was how I always saw it. I have the Cavs winning 4-1. The Heat will get one. Just because Eric Spoelstra is that good a coach. Pat Riley is that great a leader. And here's my problem real quick with the Heat. I think they're in a terrible spot, right? Because they have outstanding coaching. They have outstanding leadership in the front office. They'll never be bad enough to get that difference maker out of the draft. And, but they'll never be good enough to get that high seed that they need in the playoffs to have, some home court advantage through this thing. So they're just stuck in what's the word? I'm forgetting my words today. But they're stuck in purgatory, and they've got to try to figure that out. And so the only thing I can say is Pat Riley has to somehow figure out a big time trade to get a big time player there. But anyway, I have Miami, Cleveland winning that one 4-1. I had originally picked the Bucks to beat the Pacers, and I guess since that's what I originally picked, I should stay with that. But that's a tough one. I didn't expect the Pacers to come out and play how they're playing in this series, man. But Giannis is out of his mind. They've got to get that guy a little bit of help. He's out of his mind. I have the Pistons upsetting the Knicks, and so that would be Pistons in 7. I have that upset. And of course, as we mentioned, the Celtics, the greatest winningest franchise in NBA history, the franchise with the most championships in NBA history, winning and beating the Magic 4-1.
I almost muted your mic, Bruce.
Oh, dang. I've been like, what's happening? I've been sitting here talking. Everyone's like, we can't hear you. Yeah. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think.
Yeah. There's when you go from being a rebuilding team to a championship team, you run into that valley where you're one move away
Mm-hmm.
from being a contender. And like you said, Bruce, some teams get stuck because you play too good to get that player in the draft,
That's right.
and you're hesitant about breaking up your core to
Right.
go get a star. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you do? And we've seen that happen a lot with teams.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Agreed.
but
Tough.
but I'm gonna give my picks.
Okay.
Of course, all day long, Laker Nation. But after what I seen yesterday, I'm saying Lakers in 7 because for some reason this team doesn't know how to, when you have your opponent down, keep your foot on their throat.
Yeah,
They give them life, and they gave them life in Game 3. You
I
know,
can see that. Yeah.
that was a game that they should have asserted their dominance and let
Mm-hmm.
it be known that, look, like we're these dudes,
Mm-hmm.
and we gonna put y'all in your place. But no, they gave them life.
Agreed.
That's like you're in a fist fight and you knock them down, and instead of ending it, you let them get back up because you want to square up again. That don't make no sense. Um, I like the way Kawhi is playing in these playoffs. Um, so I'm going to say Clippers. I'm gonna say Clippers in 6. I think Denver's gonna win one more, just off of Jokic's will alone.
Mm-hmm.
But Kawhi has a way of taking the
Mm-hmm.
heart out of your other team's star.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so he's like one of the few players since the late great Kobe Bryant that that takes on the challenge of your other team's star and taking their fight out of them.
Yep.
So when you have that dog on your team, you have a chance.
Yeah.
And and that's why I'm going to pick the Warriors over the Rockets because Jimmy Butler can be that, and he has shown that.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to be consistent on snatching the hearts out of your opponent. But I give them that in 6. Sorry, Carlos, but
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
I think Cleveland's gonna get the sweep.
Yeah,
Mm.
But
probably
I,
what I'm
I
thinking
do
right
think
now.
Miami is going to bounce back. They're going to get a high pick in the draft next year, and I think Pat learned a lot from his situation with Jimmy. That he'll approach that situation with his stars different.
Mm.
Um, I say Pacers in 6 as well. They're just playing inspired basketball to me, and the Bucks is like they're just trying to get through this series and get in the off season. I don't see no fight out of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
The best series in the playoffs right now, which will go
Yeah.
7, is the Knicks and the Pistons. These are teams that have
Yes.
something to
Pretty.
prove, and they're showing
Agreed.
it. So I think this was going to go 7, and it might go into overtime in that game 7, come down to the
Mm.
last possession.
Hmm.
But I got the Pistons edging that out.
All right.
And unfortunately,
Wait, no what?
I got the in 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 5 games.
You got the who?
The in
A little
5
louder.
games.
A little louder.
Oh
I
man.
got the Celtics in 5 games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that you know they got one on them, um, but that was a fluke game. We all said before the series started that game 3. We even said this on your show, Bruce. That I always thought that they were going to take game 3,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
but you know the Celtics is just going to just put that series to bed and rest up for that fight they're going to have next round with the winner of that Pistons Knicks series.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's my takes. Now I know this is early.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win it all?
Hmm.
Um, who wants to go first?
How about let Bruce go first? He's the guest.
Oh, All right, Bruce, who do you got? Who you gonna pick to win it all?
I think the Celtics go back to back. I do, honestly. They will get pushed by Cleveland and severely tested in the finals by OKC, but I think they're going to go back to back. I think they're hungry. They know what it takes, and it's always the caveat of injury in modern sports, right? But if they're even relatively healthy, I don't think anybody could deal with them because Derek White is playing at an extremely high level as that fourth wheel. Porzingis as the third guy. When he's on his game, they're really tough to beat. And of course, man, Tatum and Jaylen Brown, man, they are just really tough. And at any given time, Peyton Pritchard can go off. Sam Hauser can go off. Al Horford can give you an easy 15 to 20. Plus, he can still move his feet defensively. Like, that team is loaded. Joe Mazzulla has the right mindset, and I think he's got him clicking. I think, in all seriousness, just take the fan part out of it for me. I do think the Celtics are the best team in the league when they're playing at their best, and I think they can go back to back here.
All right,
All right,
good take. Carlos, who do you have?
my turn. I also got Celtics winning the finals. Yeah, man. If that core stays together, I believe the Celtics can stay champions if they keep that core together.
I
Yeah, so
am
I got
never.
Celtics.
I'm never putting green on this show ever.
I got
Y'all.
Celtics winning.
Oh, jeez, Bruce, what did you do to my co-host?
I had nothing to do with it, man.
Transformer, I'm about to ask you to click the link here and give some pushback on Bruce because he done coerced my co-host.
Oh, man.
I'll let you in early just to sit up here and debate and just go at Bruce.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm gonna stick to the West.
Right.
I'm a West guy. I'm gonna
Mhm.
stick to the West. I think if Kawhi can stay healthy,
Dangerous.
and
Yeah.
and James Harden continues, what he's doing now.
hmm
He doesn't have to be the hero. I think the Clippers can upset
Mm.
and take this thing this year.
Wow.
And
Clippers winning the whole thing.
I think the Clippers can upset.
They have the
Um,
tools.
Wow.
The only reason why I'm not picking my Lakers, I'm just being objective. If I was just
Mhm.
being a fan, I'll say Lakers all day, because I ride or die with my squad.
hmm hmm
But being objective,
hmm
it's just they're just one team that you can see
hmm
that like I said earlier, if you got that one guy on there that will take 2 games just by his will alone,
hmm
the Clippers have that in Kawhi. It's not gonna be easy though, because they're gonna have to go on the
Mm.
road every series. Um, they'll have to be going on the road every series, and yeah, Travell, you're gonna love you. You came in right on time, as I'm talking about your dang on Clippers.
Clippers.
But
Can I ask you a quick question, fellas?
Yes, sir.
As Coach T here mentioned the Clippers, and I agree with him. If Kawhi can stay healthy, they are super dangerous and can beat anybody. So that's a great take. So my question would be, as so many people say that this is LeBron's era and so on and so forth, if Kawhi wins a championship with the Clippers, brings the first ever championship to the Clippers, and he would likely get, finals MVP. So he would be the lead dog on 3 different championship teams, 3 franchises, finals MVPs in all of them. What does that say? Could we at that point stop this narrative about it being LeBron's era when we've seen that, that'll be somebody else eating again on his era, like on his quote unquote era? You know what I'm saying? On his watch.
the only issue with Kawhi
Health.
is just like he'll have those accolades, 3 times, 3, finals MVPs, 3 championships if he can do it. But you're also going to see has more, a ton of games missed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been in the league for you know, how long he's been about 10 years
Man,
now.
no, 13 years maybe. He's been around for a
Yeah,
long time.
Yeah.
and
13, 15 years.
he's behind Tobias Harris in all time, you know,
Wow. Okay.
points, and it is like you you know, people gonna have that argument. They're gonna be like, it's
Mm-hmm.
always that but with Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got this, but he's here.
Right.
That's the only thing that's gonna hinder him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
but when he's when he's on point,
Mm-hmm.
he, like I said, he can snatch victories out of his opponents.
Yeah.
Like with OKC, he can match. You know, he's not gonna get caught in the foul baiting on SGA. He's too experienced of a defender,
Mm-hmm.
and he will make life miserable for SGA. And so and SGA doesn't have a James Harden, that can drop 40 a night
Mm.
for him. He don't have that. Kawhi does. Like he has that luxury. If he's in a tough opponent, he doesn't have to focus on both sides. He can just lock in on defense and let his co-star carry the offense if he wants to.
Mm.
Because you also got Zubac out there who's having the best
Mm-hmm.
season that he's had in his career.
Right.
They also have that luxury of dumping it in the post to Big Z if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hate that we gave him up to them.
I'm good with it.
Because imagine what we'll look like now with Zubac the way he's
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
She's Louise. Now they probably still would have traded him because they make dumb moves like that sometimes. But that's the only thing with Kawhi. If you take because I don't know what's this obsession with all time stats and accomplishments, but if you take that away and you just look by season accomplishments, he'll be right up there. He'll be right up there with the major stars.
Mm.
And so that's my take. I got the clip. I got the Clippers winning. I got the Clippers winning it all. And I think they can upset them. I know I made that argument about disrespecting OKC and all. People disrespecting a 68 win team
Mm-hmm.
and all that. I'm not disrespecting them. I just think Kawhi has the will to snatch the series away from them. That's just more so the respect I have for Kawhi than
Mm-hmm.
disrespecting OKC. All right. Do you agree or disagree, Carlos?
Um, Kawhi does win this year, right? If they win this year, it really does something for him. Like it adds something to his legacy. He won with the Spurs. He won one with the Spurs, won one with the Raptors, and then wins one with the Clippers, right? But I feel like it's still gonna be LeBron's era, though. It's still gonna be LeBron's era. Still, I feel like because he's like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
You know.
Chad, don't come from a boy.
No,
He's not a LeBron fan. He's just giving his take. He's not a
yeah.
LeBron fan.
I'm just giving my take. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
We
obviously
have
that
a
run, like in 2010 with the Miami Heat, like that was like that put him to another level. Like you know what I mean? 4 straight finals appearances, 1-2. You know what I mean? So it does something, definitely.
Carlos, brace yourself. Bruce is making that face.
What happened?
Are you not gonna do it? You're not gonna do it on our show?
No.
If he was on the Four Mag podcast, he'd start hollering and screaming at you right now.
Yeah.
Hey, hold up there, young bug. Hold up there. What about
I probably would have got fried in his podcast.
you can stand on you got a lot of sports knowledge in that brain. You have enough to push back and stand on your toes. I got confidence in you.
Oh no, don't worry. I'm gonna stand on everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, see, I like
thing
that.
I say, I'm gonna stand on it.
That's right.
I like
That's right.
that. I like that. So, Carlos, do you want to give a couple of our viewers a chance to chime in on and their takes on who they're gonna win it all, or do you want to go on
Right.
to the next topic?
Well, the chat hasn't been really saying anything about who they think is gonna win it. So So do you want me to put a question in the chat?
No, we're gonna let them click the link and come in, call in.
All right. So can they do it right now?
It's pinned.
All
So
right. They want
hey,
to.
if you want to call in and pick in the playoffs who you is pick to win it all, just click the link and come on in.
Someone said the Celtics.
That's shocking coming from you. It's not that serious.
You got Clippers in Boston.
Steve says Clippers in Boston. Okay, so I guess no one's going to click the link to call in. Don't be intimidated, guys. We don't bite. All right. I guess we'll go into. So the next topic, the next two topics we're just gonna mash them together. Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about the NIL and our views on how that is affecting the game of college football and how the NFL is reacting to it. And then when we go from there, we'll go into the draft, and then we'll talk a little college football. Uh, Bruce's favorite subject. So now I'll start it off.
All
Like
right.
they, it was just a matter of time before this happens, because what happens in the pros always trickles down to the lower levels. We've seen that in the past. So now with players getting paid, we knew it was only going to be a matter of time before it hits the college level. And it hit the college level, and it's already hit the high school level. So hold on, we got a caller.
Oh shoot! Really?
Let me bring him in, Mr. Sid. Sid. Sid, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Be Ready Sports Podcast, my brother. You're live. We can't hear you though.
Yeah. You're muted.
You're muted. Sid, you're muted.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. There you go.
There you go.
Hey, what's going on, Laker Nation?
What's going on, Sid?
What's going on, Captain?
What's going on, Chief?
So let me put the bracket back up. All right, Sid, what you got?
I think I want the Lakers, but I'm gonna have to maybe go with OKC. Bruce's Celtics. Thunder coming out with it all.
Oh, so you
All
got
right.
the Thunder.
All right.
I'm not mad at that, Chief. I'm not mad at that. So why do you have the Thunder? Why are you picking the Thunder?
I think they're the deepest team, the best team on both offense and defense, all around play. I do worry about the Celtics because of experience, but I have a feeling that the Celtics might be jinxed this year, and nobody's been winning 2 in a row, so they're going down.
Yeah, that'd be the first one to back since Golden State.
Yeah.
That'd be the first one to back since Golden State. Yeah. I don't want to see it happen though, Sid. I don't want to see it happen. You ain't gonna be able to shut Bruce up. All these Celtic fans.
Yeah.
So what else so right now, as you called in, we were getting into the NIL. I know we were going to take calls later, but since we have you here, what do you what is your stance on the NIL right now? Do you think it's helping the game or hurting it?
I really don't have a stance on it. Because for so many years, I remember the old way with the NCAA being archaic. Man, you get some shoes, you screw a kid over, they scholarship, or else they used to backdoor. So I think it probably needs some changes and adjustments for it to work out. It's a good idea back from the old NCAA, but they're gonna have to get it regulated.
Yeah, I 100%, I 100% agree. So what we're gonna, so what we'll do, Sid, we'll bring you back on later,
Okay.
when we conclude the show, so you can, digest not just the NIL, college football as a whole, and the draft, because we're gonna touch on a lot of, we want to move the show along, because we don't want to keep Bruce here for 17 hours, but we'll. We're gonna I'm gonna bring you back in later, so before we conclude, and we'll give your final thoughts on the whole thing, on whole shebang.
All right, my brothers.
Appreciate you, Sid.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So, and so the NIL, as I was saying, that it was what happens in the pros, tends to trickle down to a lower level. So it was only a matter of time before college teams were going to get paid, and then we already seeing high school players get paid, and it's only a matter of time before it goes into AAU. And it's crazy that you're gonna see 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds with endorsements and contracts and getting those perks before they're old enough to vote. But I do see it coming, because, like Sid said, it needs to be a structure, and there is none, which is causing the transfer portal to get out of hand. And because of that transfer portal and all of that, that is kind of why you've seen what you've seen, during this draft with Mr. Shador. Because the NFL is not the NBA.
No, it sure is not.
They're
Obviously.
not going to let the inmates run the asylum. They're going
Nor
to make
should
a
they.
stance, and they don't care who you are. They will freeze you out. They, for whatever reason it is, they have no problem with, blackballing you.
Yeah.
We've seen it with we've seen it with a numerous of players. Recently, right now with Aaron Rodgers, he's trying to strong arm the league to get what he feels is worth, and the league doesn't feel he's worth that. So until he humbles himself, no one's going to sign him. And if they'll do that with Aaron Rodgers, they were going to do that with Shador, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'll start with you, Carlos, since you do have experience on the AAU circuit and you're currently now in high school. So you're seeing the beginnings of what I'm predicting.
Yes, sir.
Because you see kids out there with Nike sponsors already.
Yeah.
You've seen kids with Gatorade sponsorships already.
Yeah.
You've seen kids with 2 and 3 trainers, a manager, uh, with a whole publicist team already.
Yeah.
So it's already starting. So
Yeah.
what is your opinion on? Do you think this NIL is helping or hurting your sport?
All right. Okay. I'm gonna say this as a high school player because I currently play high school basketball, and this has definitely ruined our recruitment. Definitely, this definitely ruined our recruitment. Definitely because you look at these college. Okay, what happened to Tony? His camera turned.
All right, he'll be back. Go ahead, man.
All right. So Bruce. All right. Oh, Tony back. All right. As a high school athlete, I feel like our recruitment has been ruined. Like basically, like our chances has been gone down because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal. You know what I mean? Like the St. John's coach Rick Pitino, basically said that he's not taking a single high school player. He's not taking one single high school player. Like he's going to take a transfer player over a high school player.
Mhm.
And that's basically the mindset of basically every coach in the country. If you look at it, like basically like it's rare to get a Division One offer nowadays. Like nowadays, like getting like a Division 3 JUCO and NIA offer, that's like something big because it's rare to go to Division 1, Division 2 these days because of NIL, transfer portal. You know what I mean? It does have to be regulated though. It needs to be regulated, and it's definitely ruined high school recruitment, and definitely NIL does need to be regulated indeed.
I agree. I know Bruce, you don't have a lot of experience on the AAU circuit, but
No.
you do follow college sports,
Mm-hmm.
and you see the transfer portal is getting out of hand on all levels.
Man,
So, what is your stance on it? Do you think NIL is helping or hurting the sports?
it's definitely. I think it's definitely a little both, right? Because what are the numbers? I think in basketball and football, both of those sports, the two major revenue producing sports in college,
Yeah.
less than 1% of all high school players ever make it to the pros, right? And we know that we've watched for years and years, how much money these programs make off the backs of these players. And most of them don't ever get to truly capitalize on it. Now, we know there's been a lot of programs, especially in the SEC, when it comes to football, that was slipping money under the table, but it's not real money, right? And also, you're supposed to be getting compensated by your scholarship and what have you. But, let's say your coach leaves, a new coach comes in, they can pull your scholarship. Even if it's the same coach, they can pull your scholarship if they feel like there's somebody that they want to bring in that's a better fit and will help them win, right? And so I think NIL is a good thing in terms of these guys having the opportunity to capitalize and make some money while they're in college, especially knowing that they likely won't make it to the pros, right? It looks like a lot of guys make it to the pros, but when you compare that to the total amount of college football and basketball players, it's really not that much, right? So that's the plus side, NIL, right? But me being, a veteran, a military guy, and this, Coach T, our lives in that environment are governed by what? Rules and regulations, right?
Yeah.
You're a Marine, so you can go to Japan, right? The rules and the regulations are going to be the same as they are at Camp Pendleton, right? I'm in the Army. I can go to Germany. The rules and the regulations are going to be the same as they are at Fort Eustis, Virginia. You know what you're dealing with, right? The problem is there's no standardized rules and regulations for NIL. So it's just like basically Wild Wild West, highest bidder, can get the kid. So I would like some rules and regulations, but I don't want it taken away, right? And the other problem is if I'm a program, let's say I'm just hypothetically, I'm USC, right? I might have a ton of money. But then if I'm Western Kentucky, right, which is also an FBS program, I don't have nearly as much money. So that really takes away from my ability to get the kid. I might have the best coaching staff. I might have a really good scheme that fits the kid, but chances are the kid's going to go for the money, as they should, right? As they should. Although chasing the money is not always the best move, right? The great urban poet Jadakiss said, soon as you start chasing the money, that's when the money start running, right? And so what he's saying by that is it's not always the best to chase every penny. Now, that's easy for me to say, right? If you come from impoverished circumstances, you got to go get the dough. I get it. But it's not always the best thing. Now, here's the other problem. When the NIL rules were written, the whole thing was that NIL is not supposed to be used as an inducement to get a guy to a particular school or girl, or to try to get somebody to come into the transfer portal so they can leave and go to another school, right? We know that has all fallen by the wayside. They use it all the time. Basically, NIL is a recruitment tool because, again, there's no clear guidance on it. There's no real rules and regulations. So it's good and bad. And I totally get that these guys, these athletes deserve to be compensated if they can be, right? But at the same time, not having any guidance and letting just, whatever happened. I'm not really a major proponent of that. So my thought and my solution, and I'll wrap this up. I'm sorry I'm going on. My thought and my solution is that.
No, you're good. Give me one moment. I got to change my lighting in here.
Sure. So let's
continue.
I'm sorry?
No, I say continue. I got to
cool.
change my lighting.
So let's say Coach T is recruiting Bruce Hope to play football at Notre Dame, right? Cool. That's my dream school. I want to play there. Fantastic. But he says, okay, Bruce, we're going to give you 500 grand, whatever the NIL deal is, 500 grand, right? My opinion is that if I, Bruce Hope, sign this deal, I got to stay there at least 2 years, right? And if I want to move on, the only waiver I get is obviously like some family issue. Maybe something happened to someone in my family. I need to move back closer to home, right? So that would be a waiver. Also, another waiver would be a situation like my coach leaves, because we know how often that happens, right? The coach will move on for greener pastures. The new coach comes in. All of a sudden, Bruce Hope, who was recruited heavily by Coach T, doesn't fit the scheme of Coach Carlos. And so, Bruce Hope, you got to go. You out in the cold, because I'm bringing with me my quote unquote Louis luggage. We've heard that before, right? So,
Yeah.
but we've seen and heard things like that happening constantly. So I think that, like I said, my thought is, no problem, guys, getting NIL, but you should have to stay at that school 2 years, unless very specific cases for a waiver. Your coach leaves, you have some type of underlying issue near home where you need to get back closer to home or something like that. That's my
Definitely.
thought.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good take.
Yeah.
What you with the star players, they're going to get the scholarship. They're going to,
Mm-hmm.
benefit from the NIL. I think you're more referring to that those kids that are depending on that scholarship
Mm-hmm.
for them to live, because their scholarship pays for their room and board.
Mm-hmm.
It pays for their school books.
Mm-hmm.
It pays for their meals. A lot of them that's on scholarship aren't allowed to work, so they're 100% relying on that. That's how it's been, unless they get like a partial scholarship
Mm-hmm.
where they're able to work and earn income.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're more referring to that student, or that'll benefit more from the NIL. The only problem with that is the companies that are funding the NIL only
Mm-hmm.
are interested in those major stars that's going
Yeah.
to make them money. So the NIL really still isn't benefiting the players that it was intended for, because those big stars are going to get those checks, and they're going to make it to the league. Most of the kids that you're referring to, like
Mm-hmm.
as you said, aren't going to may not make it to the pros, or they're end up playing overseas.
Right.
Like they're talented enough, it's just only so many roster spots.
Right.
So they end up going overseas. I think those are the ones that the NIL was intended for, but since it's not regulated, they put it like this: they'll look at Ricky Ricardo here, and he's a straight A student. He put up solid. He put up solid numbers.
He's like, who's Ricky Ricardo?
He put up decent high school numbers.
Uh-huh.
And whatnot. And they're like, okay, yeah, we will bring you on to the school. We give you a full scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
We give you let's say $75,000 NIL.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And then you announce your intent. But then they see a player like Kevin Garnett, who has multiple schools after him that's offering them, million, in the $1 million range. And they're like, oh, we have a chance to get him. Our budget, we got 17 mil we can throw at him. I'm just throwing a number out there. They're like, okay, we'll give you 17 mil to sign. He was like, okay, well, Duke is offering me 17.5. Can you give me 18?
Right.
And to give them 18, they have to pull that 75 grand that they offered to Ricky Ricardo to get KG. So that's the problem with the NIL.
Well, in that case, that's what you gotta do if you're that school, right? Get the big gun, and then you find other guys, role players, the minimums, as LeBron says. You find those guys to kind of put around them.
Yeah. So that is the situation that they were running in with the NIL, and then
Mhm.
what's happening is, okay, you don't give that 75 grand to Ricky Ricardo, you get KG on.
Hmm.
So, and then what we're seeing is halfway through the season or in the tournament, you get UConn swoop in. They say the sponsor gives them, you know, 50 million. They're like, oh, they're like, okay, we can steal KG from
Hmm.
Duke,
Right.
from Nova Scotia University. We can steal him from there.
Right.
So, like, okay, you're getting 17. You happy there? They're like, yeah, okay. You're getting 17. You're getting 18. We give you 25,
Hmm.
and that's what's happening. They're
That
like,
is what's happening.
man, screw this tournament. I'm gonna get this
Go
25
get this
real quick.
money.
Let
Yeah.
me hit
Yeah.
that transfer portal.
Yeah.
So it needs to be regulated like the NBA, where if you're on the contract, you're not allowed to talk to that player
Right.
until they're in free agency.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it needs to be that way in college,
Hmm.
that
Agreed.
you are not allowed to offer a student, compensation if they're already under contract with this school.
Hmm.
So they need to be contracts where they sign that NIL
Yeah.
for a certain amount of years, unless, and the only out is if you are guaranteed first round draft pick in the NBA, then you can that's the only way you can get out of that contract. So I think that needs to be done. And two, if he does enter the transfer portal, the team that needs to be compensated, kind of similar to how they do the trades in the league.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, okay, if you're gonna take him from us, we need cash compensation,
Hmm.
and this player and this player to fill that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So that's my take on the NIL. Hold on, Bruce.
Well, we know it's also about to change again too, because the NCAA versus House settlement is moving us towards a direct pay for play model.
Yeah, Mr. King of the chat.
What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just Debo'd your way onto the show.
That's right.
You just
Debo
said
in the building.
I was gonna
AKA Harrison Butker.
I was gonna leave you in there until we was opening up the phone lines, but I said, nah, let's see what the king of the chat has to say.
I thought you said we had to do it this way. We couldn't just call in.
No, you clicked the link, but I could have.
Yeah.
But I was gonna leave you in. I was gonna leave you in the studio until we was ready. We was gonna bring in calls, but then I said,
would've
nah,
waited.
let me let Steve in.
Yeah,
And
waited.
he
I
might
don't
want to
wanna-
chime in on this NIL because
Yeah, I don't
we're
want
wrapping
to
up the
intrude.
NIL right now.
I got no problem waiting, brother. You the captain of the ship, so I'm good. But this is something I did want to kind of get my thoughts on. First off, it's good to meet you, Carlos.
Yes, sir. King of the chat.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, get my title right.
King of the chat. All right.
Hey,
You good?
But it's good to meet you, man. I'm glad to hear your backstory. And honestly, with all sincerity, I'm praying for your future. It sounds like you have a bright future ahead of you, man. You keep grinding and try to make as best of choices as you can make, because this is a very important time in your life to try to make as good and sound choices as you can to lead into your future. But about the NIL, I'm all about these young men getting paid and capitalizing on their name and likeness. But the problem is with capitalism comes commerce. There has to be a structure for this. And whatever Bruce said, I vehemently disagree with. I didn't hear all of it, but I disagree with whatever Bruce said. I'm just kidding. But I'm sure he brought up. I'm sure Bruce. I didn't get to hear all of it because in backstage it was in and out. But and I hope I'm not repeating a lot of the things you said, Bruce. But I know we think a lot alike. We want these young guys to get paid.
Yes.
But in that same grace, we want these young men to learn real capitalism, real business, real entrepreneurship, in a legal way to go about this and I'm pro-capitalism, but when it's done correctly, because you have horrible examples of crony capitalism, and that's unjust. It's not legal. It's wrong. and that's where corruption can come in. But for these young men in the NIL stuff, we want to see them get paid, but we don't want to see crony capitalism where it's like you're breaking and breaching contracts. If you sign an NIL with a school, there should be something in place where it's like if you break this contract or you have to stay here for 2 years, let's just say hypothetically, you sign your NIL deal with a college, university, you have to be there for 2 years unless, I know Bruce says this all the time, unless your coach leaves, unless, there's something that you can find and breach a contract which would legally give you a clause to get out and exit that current contract, which we've got plenty of examples of, so it shouldn't be that difficult. I do think as much as I want to see a young man make money, but as far as his name, image, and likeness, say a young man is a superstar like Shedeur Sanders, go and sign as many autographs as you want and capitalize off it, sell as many t-shirts as you want and capitalize off of it. But within the contract of the school, I think there needs to be a cap where it's like there's a threshold, just like the NFL. Like when you're this caliber of quarterback, this is your cap. Or if you're this caliber of player, this is your cap. I think there needs to be something with these universities where it's like we don't see something like the Nico situation, where it's like you have guys holding out where, I mean, under contract, I would push back in Tennessee's favor at the same time as wanting to see a young man like Nico getting paid. I would say, well, hold up. You're under contract for $2 million or whatever the number was. And now you're trying to go back on this where it's like you're under contract. So it's like, I think you're going to see, that's where I say with capitalism comes commerce. There has to be a structure. There has to be rules, morals, values, and boundaries so that capitalism can work in a correct way, which you have crony capitalism everywhere. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's the moral high ground economic system. You're always going to have issues within it. But the NIL stuff, I'd say it's good and bad. It's good to see young men make money because before everybody was cutting out, I think Bruce said something like it's less than 1%, 2% of kids go professional in their sport of choice. So it's like the long-term likelihood of you capitalizing off your sporting career is it's far and few between. So while you're in college, we want to see these young men make money, but at the same time, there's got to be structure involved with it.
Exactly.
Agreed. Yeah.
I just seen this comment by Sid. He was thinking about the Ed O'Bannon case.
The who?
The Ed O'Bannon.
Who that?
Yeah.
You guys don't know who
Ed O'Bannon.
You guys don't know who Ed O'Bannon. He was
Ed O'Bannon.
He knows who Ed O'Bannon is.
I thought you said Bennett.
No,
Bennett.
Ed O'Bannon. Oh,
Yeah,
you can't see the
UCLA.
comment on the screen.
Yeah,
I've
UCLA.
got you. Yeah, with UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his situation. I don't need Steve to elaborate a little bit about not Steve. I need Sid to elaborate what he meant when he said Ed O'Bannon, because this an old comment, so he may have been commenting to it like when we were first talking about the NIL, because it wasn't around back then when he played.
Not at all.
No, he went through the courts. It took years for that situation to come to an end, for him to get paid. And I can't even remember the full substance of that. At one point, I knew a lot about that case.
Yeah, the substance was when he saw the players being basically used in the video game, in the NCAA football video game and the basketball game. The players looked like the real life players. They played like them. They wore their number and all that. They just didn't have their name on them. And so he was like, come on, man, you guys are using our likeness, but you're not compensating us. And sports basically canceled the games. And I was pretty upset because I love the college football game. And it didn't get back until this past year. So, yeah, that was the big deal.
Yeah. Now I remember now. Yeah, because right then, like he said, they'll use like random names, like Steve Archibald, but that's Tyus Edney.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, that's Kevin Love. Like they'll look exactly like him, wear their number, but they don't have their name.
Right.
And, he made a push on it. He was like, well, if you're using our name, our likeness, so you should pay us.
Correct.
So I think now with the NIL, that he should reopen that case and get compensated. But that will be a mess and a lot of back pay toward those athletes. So I think that's why they stopped making the game. But you got anything else? Anything else, Stevie? Did he
I think he
froze?
froze up.
Is he frozen?
Yeah, I think he froze up. Go ahead and I'd say
right.
drop him out, and
All right,
he'll be back
Steve.
later.
Poor guy.
All right, Steve. You froze for a little bit. We'll bring you back. But yeah. So let's get into that was a good subject, man.
Mhm.
That was a good subject to touch on.
Yeah, definitely. NIL transfer portal. Yeah, it definitely needs to be addressed.
That
Definitely.
needs to be addressed and it needs to be fixed.
Definitely. Yeah.
So we know
Ooh.
Thursday, um, me and Bruce, we sat for 3.5 hours
We did.
Wow.
through this.
We sure did.
So, but we didn't. But Carlos didn't have the luxury of sitting with us to go over his draft coverage, and I know he has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of the topics that Carlos wanted to discuss. So we'll let Carlos on. I'm gonna give Carlos the reins on this topic and the college football because these are topics that he wanted to discuss, and I'm gonna take a back
Mhm.
seat here
All
and
right.
let him quarterback this segment.
All
Mhm.
right.
So go ahead, Carlos. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, the first round was pretty interesting. Cam Ward at number one, definitely was coming. You know what I mean? Tennessee needed a quarterback. They went 3-14 last year. Definitely needed a quarterback. Cam Ward's there. Hopefully, he'll be the future at Tennessee. But the shocker was that number two pick. Supposed to be Cleveland's, but a last minute trade by Jacksonville came in there, picked up Travis Hunter, man. DB wide receiver, really good piece in Jacksonville, really well needed over in Duval County. But Abdul Carter over at the Giants, um, definitely a good move for the Giants. Genty with the Raiders joining Pete Carroll squad in Las Vegas. McMillan in Carolina. Pretty good move for Carolina. They also got another receiver today, late in the rounds. He goes by the name of Jimmy Horn Jr. Played for
Mhm.
Colorado. Young guy. You know what I mean? Really great. He was really good at Colorado, and I'm actually grateful that he got drafted. He definitely needed that. Kelvin Banks over at the Saints. Pretty big pickup for the Saints. My Dolphins picking up Kenneth Grant, D tackle, pretty good there. Tyler Warren for the Colts, tight end. They picked up Riley Leonard as their quarterback. So they're trying to pick up, young core, offensive core over there in Indianapolis. But Emeka Ibuka over in Tampa, you know what I mean? Joining with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, you know what I mean? So joining that,
Really
you
doing.
know, great group of receivers. Plus, you have Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Watch out for Tampa in the AFC South. Um, Omarion Hampton, receiver. Carolina was a really good player over at North Carolina. He's with the Chargers. Jackson Dart going to the Giants.
I know. I wish I could blow this thing up, man. I know it's kind of small on your
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, I know. I'm like looking in, but Jackson Dart going with the Giants. Pretty good move for the Giants. They have Jameis
Um,
Winston.
Not
Uh,
Carlos. I'm not
what's
trying
up?
to cut you off. If you could put your mouse over the screen, you'll see a small little
Oh, okay, there you go. Better, way
yeah.
better.
That'll expand it to the full screen.
Yes, it's massive now. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
staying back here now. Okay, it's Jackson Dart over in the Giants. Pretty good pickup for the Giants. They said that the Giants needed a quarterback. even though they have Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito, and who's the other guy in New York that they picked up? Jameis Winston, or did I say that?
They got. Oh my goodness gracious,
Wait, and they got Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Yup.
but,
Yep.
but he's not gonna be around.
Bruce
for
Bruce is looking at us both like, man, y'all need to get it together. Come on, now. Come on now. That look he gave.
That
He was like,
happens to me all the time, man. Don't even worry about it.
I'm
he's
just
like, yeah,
asking a
get it together. Yeah, Russell
Oh,
Wilson.
man. Yes.
What the heck? And yeah, that's all for round one. Really, that I want to talk about for round one.
Okay. Did you want to touch on it? Oh no, you're quarterback in this segment. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm
All
sorry.
right. So what we're talking about, draft still, or we're gonna get into college football now?
Mhm.
You done with the draft?
Round one. Yeah. Okay. So now let's get into round two here. Oh, you got round two. Okay, bet.
No, I just put it on the screen.
All right. Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
see it now. Okay. One that I see here, Travion Henderson, running back for the Patriots. Patriots, struggle in the AFC East. You know what I mean? But big pickup for New England. The Bears picking up Luther Burden, was a talented receiver over at Missouri. Young guy going to Chicago, joining with Caleb Williams over
Can
there.
I jump in here real quick?
Yes, sir.
So the Bears grabbed Luther Burden III. I didn't even catch that. That one slipped past me. They grabbed him. They grabbed Colson Loveland. They still have Cole Kmet. They are really going all in on trying to give Caleb Williams as many weapons as possible. The only thing I'm concerned about, it doesn't appear that they're putting as much effort into protecting him. Remember, he got killed last season.
Yeah, he did.
This is going to be really interesting because you would think that the Ben Johnson coming over from Detroit, you would think he would be interested in building up the offensive line because the offensive line in Detroit is a monster. I'm not sure what exactly he's doing here, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And Carlos, before you go any further,
Yeah.
Carlos is a Dolphins fan, y'all.
Okay.
Hey, when the Dolphins are good, I'm
Nah,
ready
you
when they're
Dolphins
really
fan from
good.
thick and thin, man. Come on. Now.
Hey,
But we were talking about Quinn Ewers earlier.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted 231 overall to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. I think picking up Quinn Ewers,
Yeah.
a young quarterback finally getting drafted, that definitely gives me confidence for the Dolphins, that QB room. Because I really didn't want Zach Wilson to back up Tua. You know what I mean? Like what if Tua gets out? You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen this season. I feel like I'm not hoping on down to Tua, but that may happen. And you got Zach Wilson in there who did pretty awful in New York, and now you're gonna bring him into the Dolphins. Like, not really much of a change there. But having Quinn Ewers definitely gives me confidence.
Okay.
Bringing him there.
This, I think, is more directed to you, Bruce.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not that serious. Said the Bears picked up 4 linemen in this draft and a few in the offseason.
Okay. I didn't realize they grabbed 4 in this draft. All right. I stand corrected. There you go.
All right. JT Tuamaluau from Ohio State. He's a beast at edge rusher. Colts definitely got a beast. Will Johnson at DB. Me and Bruce were talking about it last night about like that matchups. You know what I mean? Him against Marvin Harrison Jr. Ohio State, Michigan, like colliding at it at practice. Definitely at Arizona. Definitely that's something. But then I want to look at number 53 here. Benjamin Morrison. Oh, whoops.
Go Irish.
Hey, how did that get on the screen? Come
Yeah,
on.
it accidentally pressed it. Okay. But Benjamin Morrison, in Tampa.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, me and Bruce were definitely talk about it. Like him going up against Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, now Abuka. You know what I mean? So that Tampa team is going to be something.
Both sides of the ball, yeah.
Yeah, both sides, definitely. And Denver picked up RJ Harvey. He was pretty solid over at UCF. He was
big.
pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. That's big.
Yeah, RJ Harvey was definitely a talented running back at UCF, now in Denver. So pretty big pickup for Denver. And that's all I want to cover for round 2.
All
All
right.
right, Bruce, what are your thoughts? I know we didn't cover round 2. What are
Um,
your thoughts about this?
Definitely some interesting picks here. Quinshawn Judkins to Cleveland, I think is a big one. We know that Cleveland wants to run the football at every chance they get. Like that's Stefanski's DNA. So you got a young guy who may be the next up if Nick Chubb can't stay healthy. You know, he's an absolute beast and he recovered from the ACL. But if he can't stay healthy and get back to what he used to be, or you might use him as a 1-2 punch to kind of limit the mileage on Nick Chubb as he's been injured a lot. As Carlos mentioned, that Will Johnson pick in Arizona, I think that's big. Maybe he'll push Marvin Harrison Jr. to be as special as he was supposed to be coming out. Benjamin Morrison, my guy out of Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison down there in Tampa, as we said, what he's going to have to deal with against every day in practice is going to make the games easy. Like we say, he's going to have to deal with a big physical receiver in Mike Evans. He's going to have to deal with a faster guy in Chris Godwin. He's going to have to deal with an elite technical route runner in Emeka Egbuka. He's going to have to deal with a guy who has a little bit of all of that in Jalen McMillan, right? So that is, as long as he can stay healthy, that'll really prepare him well for Sundays when he's playing against other guys. So I think there's some really good stuff going on there. I also liked what was the other one I liked? Lost it. JT Tuimoloau. That's a nice pickup in the second round for the Colts in terms of getting an edge rusher. That's something that they need to be able to have some success. Travion Henderson at 38 to the Patriots. We know what Mike Vrabel wants to do. We know what's in his DNA. And somehow the Patriots still cannot seem to figure out this wide receiver position. But if you have a strong run game and a good defense, you can protect your young quarterback that they have in Drake May. So definitely see some really good stuff. Some solid picks, I think, in round 2.
Yep.
Yeah, round 2. Okay, so that's it for round 2.
We don't have it for third round.
Third round, 4th, 5th, 6th.
What we're gonna do is before we jump into the 5th round and that big announcement, we have, and I know we're gonna get a lot of calls on this. So we have some footage here that we're going to talk about. And I really want to hear Bruce's take on this one.
Okay.
Wait, which one?
You'll see.
All right.
Hello.
You got that call?
Yo, what's going on?
Ready to go.
Say it one more time for me.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Ready to go.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Ready to go.
What does that mean?
What? What did he say?
I don't know.
How you gonna ask us what it means and you was on the phone?
You heard that?
You said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Sorry about that.
Why did he talk?
What the fuck?
Hey, that's fucked
I don't know what that was. It's 50-50. But nobody got this number though.
It was private.
Did they just troll, bro?
It can't.
Man, he just got trolled, bro. They tripping now, fam. Now I'm finna crash out, bro.
Hello.
Did not mean to do that. First show jitters. So I know I should have gave a little backstory about what we were going to show you, but in this case, I wanted you guys to see it first, then respond.
Yeah.
What that video was, was I haven't been coughing all day long, and as soon as we go live, here we go. Like, this is ridiculous, guys. I apologize. I know it's annoying. But what that was is some frat boys that called Shedeur on day 2 of the draft, and that was around the time that That was when the Saints were on the clock in the second round, before they made that shocking pick of picking what's his name, Tyler
Shao.
Shaw.
Yeah, Tyler Shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before they made that pick, that call came to him. So that's a backstory on that. So it was two frat boys that thought it was a good idea to play a prank on him, as they were the GM of the Saints, and that they were going to pick him there. I'll start with you, Bruce, because I noticed your facial expressions when you were seeing that. What is your thoughts on that video?
Man, I obviously Shedeur was anxious, waiting for the call. These young college level cats, they're gonna play jokes and do all that, especially frat guys, right? That's just part of the frat mentality. It is what it is. Actually, what I was thinking, this is gonna sound crazy, but what I was thinking, because he put it on speaker and had it up to his ear, I'm like, "You're rich. Where's your Bluetooth?" That's what I was thinking. Are you serious right now? That's what I was thinking, honestly. But
I know only reason why I'll say maybe that was purposely done, because maybe he thought he really was getting drafted and they were already recording it. So he wanted it to be
to be heard,
like a celebration type thing.
That could be,
and it ended up being a troll.
Yeah.
Could be. That's a great thought. I didn't think about that, but look, guys are gonna mess with him, and then especially because we thought that when the Giants traded back up into the first, that they were gonna take Shedeur, and they ended up taking Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. So we get why the Ole Miss frat boys were having a joke. So it is what it is. I'm just at this point, I'm glad Shedeur got drafted. I'm not happy he got drafted into the Ravens division, but so be it. I think once he gets an opportunity to get on the field as the guy, I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Transformer says that Ole Miss definitely needs to get at them frat boys.
For what?
For that.
For what? They commit a crime?
It's a harmless prank. And the thing was a harmless prank. So
yeah, exactly. Didn't cost anyone any money. Didn't commit any fraud. Didn't commit any crime. Get at them for what?
Yeah.
Well, he'll have his chance to. If he calls in, he'll have his chance to tell you.
Right.
I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna speak for Transformer.
Correct.
So, what is your take on the whole thing, Carlos?
Messed up. Definitely messed up. Shedeur's he was waiting and waiting. Shedeur at one point was supposed to be a number 1 draft pick at one point. Then he dropped to number 5. Then he dropped to 21.
Yeah.
Then 29.
Yeah.
Then he was supposed to be an early 2nd rounder. Then we found out he was a 5th rounder. So I thought that was messed up, honestly. But frat boys are gonna do what they do,
Yeah.
And speaking of those frat boys, I have one more piece of footage to show y'all.
Yes, definitely from their side.
Hey, is this Shedeur? Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
There's be nothing to do.
Hey, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh my God! He bought it! He bought it! Oh no!
Definitely executed that prank.
So now you guys have the face behind the prank.
Yeah.
So, yes, we do our due diligence here on the Be Ready Sports podcast. So we don't just throw stuff out there to you.
Hey, if the thing's out there, then I'm gonna put it on here. If the thing's out there, if the thing's out there, then we're gonna put it on here.
So, Steve, how did you pull that off, man? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trolling Steve because he said to every Shedeur fan, it was me that made the call.
Yes.
So, well, we already touched on that. I'm not gonna really go too much into the frat boys. It was just a prank. Kind of a dig. Since their quarterback was also, taken in the first round when the Giants traded up to get him, and that was just a dig because we all knew the Saints were going to get a quarterback at that spot.
Yep.
And it was just a dig at him.
Yep.
But I honestly believe that Shedeur will get the last laugh.
Definitely.
Yeah. We're about to touch on Shedeur real quick, as it's no secret that Shedeur was picked in the 5th round at pick 144 to the Cleveland Browns. That is not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
So he finally got on the board, and this is what he had to say regarding that. I got to remove this ticker real quick. He said, "Thank you to the Browns organization for giving me a chance. That's all I need." And I don't know about you guys, but I'm reading in between the lines of that quote. And I believe what he's saying there is all I needed was a door, and now I'm about to kick that sum down.
It's the start of a villain season, He's gonna be
So
he's gonna be a villain.
However, Bruce touched on this on his live earlier today. Shout out to the Format Podcast.
Yes, sir.
They did a whole segment on Shedeur, on this subject, and they talked about this. And one of the destinations you guys spoke about, Bruce, and I'll let you elaborate on it to the audience, is you were not at that time in favor of him going to the Browns because they have a track record of destroying quarterbacks. I think
it's actually transforming, I believe.
I think a comment was that is where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah.
It's like the graveyard for QBs. I honestly think Shedeur would be the exception. Because he has shown in Colorado he can overcompensate for not having a line. But the only pushback is them weren't grown men sacking you.
True.
In Colorado. Yeah. You didn't have Myles Garrett is his teammate, but you didn't have the Joey Bosa's, the Nick Bosa's chasing you down. And you're going to see Bruce, you got some monsters over there on your sideline. He's going to see them twice a year.
That's right.
So without them addressing that line fully, I hope they don't put him out there on day one. No, not a shot at I don't even remember the name of the quarterback that they picked, but no disrespect to him.
Dylan Gabriel, and they've got Joe Flacco.
Let them take the brunt of the beating at the beginning of the season. Shedeur is your future. You don't want to turn him into Tim Couch 2.0. Because remember with Tim Couch, he was favored to be something in his league, and his rookie season he got demolished. Like they even made memes on him how bad he was getting sacked. Like you remember the one? I think it was against your Ravens where he was dropping back to pass and he took two helmets to the chest at one time. That was a meme with Tim Couch. So I don't want to see that happen to Shedeur. I think he should just sit back and learn and observe, and then if the season, and then we get halfway through the season or close to the end of the season, and say the Browns aren't going to make the playoffs, and it's known, get them some regular season snaps then. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
What is your take on this, Carlos? Before we get to Bruce.
Not the most favorable place for Shedeur to go to Cleveland. You know what I mean? Well, he was supposed to go to Pittsburgh, but that didn't work out. But he's gonna be playing in probably the most competitive conference in the NFL right now. You have Baltimore over at Lamar, Baltimore. You have Pittsburgh. You have Joe Burrow out in Cincinnati. So he's gonna be playing in a very competitive conference. That's if he plays, but I doubt he will.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Steve trolling you.
By the way,
I ain't even worried about that, man. I'm not engaging in that. This is you guys' show.
Oh man. What else you got on? Is that was it, Carlos?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, Bruce.
Yeah.
Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, so
you guys are going to see Shedeur twice a year.
Yeah.
And
so I don't anticipate that he'll start the entire season this year. Flacco's a veteran; he's a champion, and I think that's gonna. I guess it's gonna depend on what they see during camp, right? But I do believe that Shedeur will start later in the year, and I'm okay with that. And realistically, I mean, you might have a legitimate competition in camp for the starter, or at the very least for the backup between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur. Dillon Gabriel is better than people think. He's an extremely experienced quarterback that's seen a lot of things on the collegiate level. First at UCF, then at Oklahoma, and then at Oregon, right? And has had a lot of success. I believe he's the all-time leading touchdown passer in college history. But in fairness, I think he played like 6 years of college football, so there's that too. But regardless, I think Shedeur is going to be very, very serious. And when he does get on the field, the plus is that he's got decent receivers there in Cleveland, but he's also got a guy in Coach Stefanski that loves to run the football, and that is going to protect a young quarterback, being able to run the football offensively. And, of course, you have an elite defense in Cleveland. So I think he's going to be fine. I personally am happy he got drafted, but not happy he's in Cleveland, because that is not a guy that I'm looking forward to seeing once he gets it figured out. The only question I have for him is, and I know this is digressing a little bit, is how is he going to do for the first time in his life not being coached by his father, hearing a different football voice and a different football philosophy. I talked about this earlier on our show. And so I think he'll be able to handle it, but I do think it's something that bears watching.
Yeah, definitely.
But come on now, Bruce. You don't think Deion's not going to have it? I know he's going to be focused on Colorado.
That's right.
But you don't think Deion's not going to be poking his head over there to see what's going on in Cleveland?
I would hope not.
And he's not going to give his input?
I would hope not, because I get that you love your son and you're an involved father, but at some point you also have to let your son become a man. You can't. I'll just say I would hope not. That's me personally.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you. And the last thing I'm going to show is this quote here, which was about one of the reasons why he fell to the 5th round. Is that we have an NFL assistant. This is from post made by Complex Sports. Shout out to Complex Sports. It was an NFL assistant coach on Shedeur Sanders. He said the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He was horrible. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good.
That is scathing.
Now.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's 2 red flags to this that But that was via Tom Pelissero. So I'm pretty sure he's just the journalist that's reporting this, and I'm pretty sure that's not the name of the assistant coach that made this take.
No, it's not. No.
But the red flags I have on this is number one, we have never heard anybody from Colorado speak negative on Shedeur. We
That's
have
true.
not heard any of his teammates speak negative on Shedeur. We have never heard Shedeur speak negative about the football program, his teammates, or anything. And he had a lot of ammo to do so because they had a rough seasons while he was there. So for this to just come out all of a sudden are these made up just to back the track that they wanted to make a statement at his expense, and they're just covering their tracks to make it seem like they're him dropping is legitimate, or is this all just a smoke, or is this just all BS, and they're just trying to insult our intelligence?
Well, I'd say maybe someone really feels that way. It's just, it sucks that you can't get a name, but that's the nature of journalism. Journalism was built on anonymous sources, so it's just one of those things, man. I take it with a grain.
Yeah.
But what evidence have you seen that any of this is true, though, in Shedeur's case?
Right.
I mean, yeah, he has swag about him.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected.
So I've heard it argued by people that coach and by scouts that he does take unnecessary sacks, and that he the whole never plays on time thing, in that he doesn't get rid of the ball quickly. But part of that to me is the scheme, because if you notice, Colorado had a lot of downfield routes and route combinations. But you could also say that, okay, well, why doesn't he take the simple ones, right? Some people argue that he was trying to, him and his dad, I don't know that it's true, we're trying to stat pad by, waiting and taking the deep downfield throws. Maybe true, maybe not. I don't think so. Entitled, that wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't, entitled doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying if somebody perceived that about him, it wouldn't surprise me right now. Also, I guess from what he says, his dad's always been hard on him and didn't give him anything. So it could be. But some people also don't interview well, right? When they say the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life, some people don't interview well. We know that he's never had to interview for anything, right? We know that. So that could be true. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. But when people say, I think Transformer says, zero reason to believe any of that, the flip side is, if you're objective and you look at it, you can see that there could be some truth in some of this commentary. To the other point, though, I don't think I've ever heard him blame teammates. So, look, at the end of the day, man, we just got to find out. The beautiful thing about sports is we always get the opportunity to find out.
Yeah.
And he has plenty of opportunity to shut that up.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So,
definitely.
Because we've never had evidence that any of that. Yeah. But for what they said about him taking unnecessary sacks and never plays on, they've said that about a lot of big name quarterbacks. They said that about Brent Favre. Brent Favre takes unnecessary hits, and he never throw on time, and he led the league in touchdowns for a point when he retired. So there's a lot of big name quarterbacks they said take unnecessary risks. But if you don't take the risks, you don't win those big games.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. Mahomes takes tons of risks every time. Like those underhand throws and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They look great on camera, but those are risky throws.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah.
So your argument, I'm not you, Bruce. I'm talking about
Yeah, I got you.
The argument has no substance because there's evidence that says that there are plenty of quarterbacks that have been labeled this, that have took those risks, that have held the ball a little bit too long, and they have won Super Bowls, they have won MVPs, they have broke a lot of NFL records, and a lot of them are in the Hall of Fame. Steve Young was one of them. So I'm gonna. Oh, and so Carlos, what is your take on this? We haven't heard your side on this. And
Yeah.
we'll open it up to college football.
Yeah. He does take some unnecessary sacks. If you saw that 2023 season with Colorado when they went 4-8, that was awful for Colorado. They went 3-0 to start off the year. We all thought, oh, Colorado might be a playoff team. Then they end up losing like 8 straight or something like that, 7 straight. And they lost 7 out of their last 8. Primarily because of the O-line, because Shedeur couldn't be protected. And he does take unnecessary sacks, but mainly because of his O-line at the time. But then but when you saw the season after that in 2024, the O-line got better. You know what I mean? They brought in Jordan Seaton. You know what I mean? They brought Jordan Seaton, who was a five-star from IMG, who really helped out. And I feel like when he got in, the O-line was better. Shedeur was able to give to guys like Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., LeJontay Wester, transfer from Florida Atlantic. He got those playmakers going. And to be honest with you, that first game against North Dakota State, I felt like I was watching the Dolphins out there with Colorado in that Week 1 game against North Dakota State. I felt like I was watching the Dolphins play because they were just running so fast. Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, that was a really good game. They survived it though, but they still won.
Just real quick, guys. I know it's our first show, but so we can keep growing, let's hit that like button. Let's like it up. So our platform can grow, and we can continue to bring out this exciting content to you on a weekly basis. So let's hit that like. Let's hit that like button.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to the channel.
So what we're gonna do now, we're not going to take calls yet. We're going to dive right into college football. The draft is out of the way, so just getting into the college football season. Early preseason predictions. Who do you see coming in next year that's going to be the next one? Then who you think is a lock for the first overall pick for next year? For your Heisman pick and your breakout, who has the most to prove this year? I'll start with you, Carlos.
Well, right now, I have a list of guys that are key returners, going into this year. Guys like Jeremiah Smith, came from Hollywood, Florida, played at Chaminade Madonna Prep, literally right here in Hollywood, went to Ohio State, had a monster freshman year. He can be up in the Heisman race this year. I think guys like Caleb Downs, who was a transfer from Alabama, who he can really help out over at Ohio State. And I think Ohio State can be that team that could still be at the top. And, they won the championship last year. They can be back at it again this year. But Ryan Williams over at Alabama had a monster freshman year. Only he plays a 17-year-old. That's my age. He's playing college football. He's playing big-time college football. Bruce over at your school, Jeremiah Love, monster running back.
Yes, sir.
Monster.
You just made Bruce happy.
He did.
I told him I told you he was going to talk. We're going to have Notre Dame talk.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame, they're up there. But what I'm looking for is Penn State. You know, I mean, they're bringing Drew Aller back, Singleton, and Katron Allen. You know, you got your two running backs coming back, and you got Drew Aller coming back. And plus, you got a really good offensive coordinator over at Penn State. Watch out for that Penn State team this year.
Oh, Kotelnicki, yeah.
Oh, Kotelnicki, yeah, he's like Picasso, literally. Like he has these creative offenses. I love them.
Yeah. Keep in mind though, that their running backs coach is now with the Irish, so keep that in mind. Jawan Sider,
True. Lenore Sellers over at South Carolina.
Okay,
he's a pretty good quarterback over there.
Yes.
Ark Mannon, it's his time in Austin. No Quinn Ewers, he's at the head of the realm. He's gonna do pretty good over at Texas, I believe, in my opinion. DJ Lagway, you know, he had a good year last year. You know, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, had a pretty good year last year. And now let's see what he does this year over at LSU.
Right.
But the big story here, Nico to UCLA. That's a big one.
That was
Nico,
that's who I was gonna pick too.
Yeah, Nico over at UCLA. Let's see what happens there. We already talked about Jordan Seaton, how great he is over at O-line. Cade Klubnik over at Clemson. Diego Pavia, probably he is an underrated quarterback over at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Clark Lee, former Notre Dame defensive coordinator.
Yep. Zachariah Branch, who was really talented over at USC.
Georgia.
Now at Georgia. Yeah.
That's big. Yeah, they needed that.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin Jennings had a really good year last year over at SMU. They got eliminated in the first round against Penn State. I guess we'll see what happens this year. And then Rocco Becht over at Iowa State. You know, not a lot of people talking about him, but they beat Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You know, so we'll see what happens with Iowa State coming into this year. Definitely. And yeah, those are the list of guys to look out for this year in college football.
Those are some really good names. I can't even say that. You know what? You missed one on the defensive side, and I'm going to go back to Notre Dame here. I know that's not, but Leonard Moore, the second-year lockdown cornerback, he stepped in, and Notre Dame's pass defense did not miss a beat when Benjamin Morrison went down, and he was a freshman All-American. And he's going to be one of the elite corners in the country this year. So you've got him. That's definitely a big one. I loved the Arch Manning. Like, that's an obvious one, but like, yeah, as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think we can like pencil him in as a Heisman finalist already. Like, he's good, and they're going to make sure that he has the opportunity to show it. Lagway, it's another big one. You named a lot of good names there. I'm trying to think if there's anybody you might have left off. I am curious to see the freshman quarterback that's going to be at Colorado. This is going to be the first time in a long time that Coach Prime doesn't have his son, you know, under center. So this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, speaking about Colorado, you know, obviously Juju Lewis, the 5-star, came into Colorado, but he is going up against the transfer from Liberty, Caden Salter.
Okay.
It's a QB battle there in Boulder. Like, who's going to be the starter? Some people are saying it might be Caden Salter being that number one because he is the transfer from Liberty. And Juju might, you know, be the backup this year, but it's a QB battle up in Boulder.
There you go. That's a good call. The 5-star freshman at Michigan. What's his name?
Underwood, right?
That Bryce Underwood. Yep. Underwood. Anxious to see him as well. And also anxious to see who wins the Notre Dame quarterback battle. Obviously, we saw what Riley Leonard was able to do there for the Irish last year. Now you've got what appears to be a two-way battle with Kenny Minchie and CJ Carr for the Notre Dame starting job, because Steve Angeli has he's gone into the portal. So that's another one that could be very interesting there at Notre Dame. Looking forward to seeing that one. Definitely have some exciting. I'm so looking forward to college football this year. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. On the coaching side, what I wanted to point to, your Florida State Seminoles, I wanted to make sure I bring this up. Gus Malzahn, former Auburn and UCF head coach, is now the offensive coordinator at Florida State. And I think that's going to be really big because Gus Malzahn is heavy on the run game. He had a top 10 rushing offense at UCF last year. And we know the type of talent that Florida State usually stacks. So if he can really get the run game going, and he does it in creative ways too, kind of atypical, but he's really good at running the football. So that takes the pressure off of necessarily having an elite passer at the quarterback position if you can run it. But if you have a good quarterback, Florida State, you know you're going to be able to run it. The defense should be much improved. I think it's going to be a big step up from what they were last season. After playing in a New Year's Six Bowl 2 years ago.
Definitely. The quarterback this year for Florida State, Thomas Castellanos, he's a dual threat quarterback. He can run, he can pass, and as you were talking about, he's heavy on the run offense. Like Castellanos, he could be a part of that too, especially with the option.
Right.
Like I remember that game from 2023, Boston College against Florida State. Castellanos gave some trouble to our defense. The defense felt really good in 2023. Like, even though Florida State still won, but he gave us a fight to the end, and we almost lost that game. I'm not gonna.
I remember that game. That's right. I remember that game. Now that you bring it up, yep, that was a tough one. You guys got away with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what is your preseason picks for the Heisman? Who are you looking out for?
I think Jeremiah Smith, he's up there. Ark Manning, he's definitely up there. I think a guy like Kevin Jennings, he's a dark horse, definitely for that Heisman.
Okay.
If Drew Aller can be the quarterback that he can be,
he can't.
Hey, he's playing at Penn State that can't win big games. Like Penn State's known for not winning big games.
Right.
Like that's always going to be the narrative until they win that big game.
Yeah. They had a terrible passing offense last year. So.
But Drew Aller, I don't even know about Drew Aller, to be quite honest with you. Like, he's got to reach his potential over at Penn State.
Right.
Sellers, I feel like that's a dark horse. Sellers over at South Carolina. South Carolina had a pretty good finish last year. Had a really good finish.
They did.
Beating A&M at home. I feel like that definitely put them on like the radar. Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think guys like Jeremiah Smith, Kevin Jennings, Ark Manning. I feel like guys like that will be contenders. But at the end, as of right now, according to my list here, I think Jeremiah Smith might get it. Or Garrett Nussmeier, by the way.
That's
shout
a big
to
one.
Sid.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sid. Garrett Nussmeier. Definitely up there. He's underrated. But give me Jeremiah Smith for now.
Yeah, I think I'm not upset with that. I think big shot by Jokic. I think that would be definitely a major normally that's a quarterback award, but I don't at this point see any quarterback running away with it. Jeremiah Smith is a monster though. He's a damn monster. Literally sealed the national championship with a 54-yard catch. So, I mean, he does that. But I'm not upset at Jeremiah Smith being your front runner for Heisman at all. Again, normally it's a quarterback, but since I don't see any quarterback distinguishing himself at this point and taking the lead, it'll probably take a few weeks before we kind of get a feel for what quarterback is kind of, stepping out in front of everybody else. But I'm good with Jeremiah Smith. That's a great call.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Jeremiah Smith too. I think, he's still growing. He's only going to get bigger.
That's scary.
I feel like he's going to have another breakout year, and I'm not mad at that. That's who I picked. So what we're going to do is we are going to so this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up the phone lines here for the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to take 3. and then we're going to have one little. This is what's going to set us unique from everyone from a lot of shows. We're going to have a little game here that we're going to with Bruce, with Bruce and Carlos, and we'll discuss it after the call. So
Game time.
Go ahead, and this will be the fun. And you guys also will get to vote on who wins the competition between Bruce and Carlos. So the chat, you will be the judges.
Oh,
so
shoot.
We're gonna open up the lines. We're gonna have three calls, and we're gonna have your college football discussions. Who's your breakout stars that you're looking for? Who do you think is gonna win the Heisman, and who is your preseason favorite? Steve, it was good.
You hear me?
Yeah, you finally made it to the crib.
Yeah, man, I had mass at like 4:30, so I got done at 5, and I had to run to my grandparents when you started by 6:30. So that's why I froze up. I was driving in and out of service and stuff. So yeah, I got back to the house.
So yeah, so now we can get to the nitty gritty. We can focus.
Yeah. I'm not driving and talking at the same time, so everybody's safe. I'm not going to hit anybody.
Carlos,
I wanted to talk about college football. Hey, I'll be honest.
Before you get started, Steve. Carlos, look at the screen. Tell me, what do you see?
What?
We got the screen is green.
Yeah.
And we got the new Notre Dame faithful side by side.
Hey, we both.
I'm just giving you a warning because in case they try to tag team us.
Green on the inside.
There you go.
All right, Steve. I know you. That's why we opened. I'm glad we had this college football talk. I know you love to talk college football too.
That's right.
So does my boy Carlos. So
I love it.
You guys have at it.
Yeah, shout out Carlos, man. You was dropping knowledge, bro. I'm impressed.
Yes, it was.
You know names more than I do. I can remember positions. I know Lagway from Florida was he's not under the radar. If you follow college football, you know he's tough.
Right.
And for everything Florida's bringing back, I know it's the SEC, Bruce. I know you don't want to hear us, but the SEC is hard to win. It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
But given what they bring back and what they have with Lagway, they have a chance to make a run. I could not remember the South Carolina quarterback. He's another guy that it's like when you watch the second half of South Carolina's season, that kid was a stud. They were winning, and they were winning big competitive games. So it's like he's a name on the radar. The problem is with the South Carolina situation, what I'm afraid of is, did they lose too much on defense? Because they had a lot of guys go to the draft.
Yeah.
Bruce, what's happening? What's that face for?
Denver and the Clippers. I'm so sorry.
What happened? I don't have the TV on right now.
Aaron Gordon just caught an ollie, like literally at the buzzer.
Yeah,
that was
Jokic 3 air ball, and then
wow.
It might count too.
Did Denver win?
Oh wow.
Win?
So
how are they going to measure this? This is crazy. They're looking at it. Well, it would have tied it. They're looking at it to see if he got it through on time.
Okay. So the Clippers came back and took the lead then, because I was kind of watching on my
it was 799. Yeah.
So I might have been behind, so I didn't even see him come back and take the lead.
That's my fault, guys. I was so locked in on the podcast, I didn't even.
I don't blame you, man.
I wasn't even looking.
One thing at a time.
But, yeah, this is the first one, man. I'm trying. I was locked.
I'm curious. I'm curious of Bruce and Carlos's thought process on I know we were discussing the Heisman. I'm happy to talk about that. And as much as I like the young man from South Carolina and Lagway, there's a lot that depends on what they do, even though it's a quarterback award. I want to hear your thoughts on Arch. I'm not sold on Arch. I know the hype is there. The brand is there. On top of the brand of Texas is there. But in the small doses we saw of Arch last year, and granted he's young, I don't know if this is going to transition as well year one of him being the guy as we think it is, especially being in the SEC. I could see them losing 2 or 3 games. and I'm not trying to twerk for the SEC, Bruce.
No, I get it.
For a first-year full-time starter, that's a
Uh-huh.
tough conference to navigate unscathed.
Mhm.
So he'd have to win. He'd have to win at least 10 games to really have a chance as a quarterback of a top 10 team to be in that Heisman contention. Because a lot of the times the quarterback stuff, if you're not from a small school, you have to be in that like top 10 playoff contention.
Mhm.
The two guys I want to talk about specifically, you guys already brought them up, so I'm not bringing up different names, is Jeremiah Love and
Mhm.
Jeremiah Smith. I think pound for pound, those are the two best players in college football, non-quarterback. But with Jeremiah Smith specifically, a new quarterback, breaking a new guy. Now, Ohio State usually has talent there. How are we going to see Jeremiah Smith thrive with a new quarterback who's kind of learning the ropes? We saw this with Marvin Harrison Jr. the year before when McCord was learning the ropes. But we knew Marvin Harrison was a stud, but he might have not had the same production he had with CJ.
Right.
So Jeremiah, on his own, he's an absolute stud. I think if he was in this year's draft, he'd be the number one player taken. It'd be either him or Abdul Carter. I think those would be the two best players in the draft. But Jeremiah Smith, because of his position, it's going to bank on how does that quarterback position fill out for Ohio State so that he can maintain his production. Jeremiah Love, now Bruce knows this because he's my therapist during Notre Dame games.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love is based off of what Mike Denbrock does, the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. If Jeremiah Love got a full dose of a starting running back's volume, similar to a Gentee or like something like Henderson and Judkins split time, if he were to get a full dose as the guy, I think we'd be talking about Jeremiah Love as like, this guy's a top 10.
Oh, this world. Yeah.
He's unreal. I mean, Laker Nation, I promise I'm not trying to like throw shots, but like in the USC, I'm really not, because USC played Notre Dame tough.
They
like,
sure
for
did.
us to come out of there, you have to think it was two back end pick sixes that made that score look like what it was.
That's right.
Because I'm telling you, we could not get to the quarterback, and that young blood from USC was torching us.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
So I'm not.
Yeah, but I almost threw something at my TV on the second one. I was like, oh, this is over.
You were damning me and Bruce under your breath.
No, I didn't know you guys. I didn't know you guys then. I wasn't. I wasn't a part of the podcast then.
But what I wanted to say about Love was like
before you go, since I like that you mentioned that you like that matchup between Jeremiah Smith, Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
So that means you wouldn't mind seeing them run it back this year for the Natty.
Absolutely not.
Ohio State and
I want Ohio State. I live in Ohio, dude.
Yeah, I'd love to see it again.
Stand Ohio State. I still have like pieces of my heart missing from that loss to Ohio State. Like I'm from Ohio. I've always lived in Ohio, but you guys know I'm pretty much sharing it. Like, I'm Catholic. I'm a Notre Dame fan. That was my family's heritage, tradition. We were Notre Dame fans. It's just we're Catholic. That's how it goes. So it's like theology trumps environment as far as I'm concerned. But but what I was bringing up about the USC game is you could see against a legit, because USC has NFL talent. Their records may have not reflected it, but USC has dudes. And you saw Jeremiah Love before he got hurt in that USC game. He was the best player on the field, hurdling dudes, running dudes over. I mean, it was like, and it was pretty. I mean, for us Notre Dame fans, like we never really had. Well, in the last, let's say, 20 years, we haven't had a Reggie Bush type guy.
No.
Jeremiah Love with a full volume load could be a Reggie Bush type player.
Yeah.
He's that electric.
Yes.
The first time he touched the ball in the playoffs, he went 98 yards on Indiana off the sidelines. I mean, the guy's he's electric, man. He's that type of player. But what comes down, why I think those two are the best pound for pound players, and I would bring it down to those, but it all bases Jeremiah Love's production off how does the quarterback situation pan out at Ohio State, because it's going to be somebody new. And same with Jeremiah Love. His is based off how the offense is going to flow with Denbrock calling the shots. And this is where I'd say you'd almost have to give the favor, in my opinion, I'm trying not to be biased, But Love, given the fact that they're going to have a new quarterback, I don't see Notre Dame throwing the ball around maybe as much as they want to, breaking in a new starter, where it's like, you got a guy like Love, get him the ball.
Steve, let me push back on that real quick, and then I'll let you land. But I'll push back and say, remember, Jaywan Sider, the running backs coach that came over from Penn State, is expert in managing two outstanding backs when we saw him with Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, right? And we're going to have a similar thing once again at Notre Dame with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, right? And, also Aeneas Williams is going to get his carries as well. So to the point that you were trying to make, there's going to be a lot of split carries, even though there's a new quarterback. So I think that they're going to run the ball, but they're going to run the ball more so by committee. And I think that's what's going to keep Jeremiah Love, although he may be a Heisman finalist, from having the numbers to win the thing.
Yep, I would agree. That's where I was going to go with, is where it's like Notre Dame has a very special situation where, and there's another name I want to talk about. No one really knows about him yet.
Kedron Young?
Kedron Young is a dude.
Yeah.
You're talking about a 6'1", 235-pound guy who can move. So, and what I think is you're going to see a lot more of Love in this year, potentially being more of a Reggie Bush guy. Like, let's line him up in the slot. Let's line him up with Price and some of these young backs in there where maybe Love gets a little bit more. Maybe it's not volume just per carry, but he'll get volume with the pass game. What's the best? What's the best help for a young quarterback?
Right.
A pass catching running back and a tight end. Like, those are the best. Those are the best things for a young quarterback to kind of integrate into the flow of the offense at this level. So I think Love has that also goes in Love's favor, where it doesn't really go in Jeremiah Smith's favor. Is like Love could play in an offense where it's like he can catch the ball and you can allow those other backs on the field. But you're right, Bruce. Notre Dame has a stable. They're going to feed them guys where Love is not going to get all the carries someone like me would want to see.
Yes, correct.
All right.
What do you guys think about? I'm not trying to take things over. What do you guys see as like preseason top 5? Like, how do you look at that sitting today way too early?
Carlos?
I'm to the consensus where I think Penn State's going to be preseason number 1 because of what they bring back.
Probably, yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
I think Ohio State will be in there because of talent.
Back a lot.
Notre Dame will be in there because they bring back quite a bit. I don't think Notre Dame will be 1, 2, or 3. They might be in that 5 to 6 range.
I can see it.
I could see Georgia coming because Georgia should be returning a lot. I mean, it's going to be your typical blue bloods, but I think Penn State, this is the year where it's like they're going to get the preseason love. Frankly, Ohio State lost some key pieces. Michigan lost some key pieces. Like, this is their chance to run through the Big Ten. Oregon lost some key pieces. So it's like this would be Penn State's time to shine, where it's like you guys are going to get the preseason number 1 potentially.
That's true. And Penn State got they got Ohio State's defensive coordinator too.
Yeah, dude. They brought in, I can't remember his name, but they brought him in. They lost the running backs coach. But Penn State's primed to be kind of the team this year if they play their cards right and just handle business.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Carlos, do you have in your top 5 you want to give Steve real quick?
Yeah, I think Penn State, they can definitely be that team. They can end that narrative of losing those big games between Ohio State and the Michigans. Like, this is their year. They have Drew Aller coming back, Singleton coming back, Katron Allen coming back. You have Cole and Nicky as an offensive coordinator. I mean, and they have Ohio State's defensive coordinator, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Penn State could be that team in the Big Ten. And what Steve said, like, Penn State, they could be that number 1, definitely. Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, they can be in that top 5 as well. Probably a team like Texas, I guess, with Art Manning, probably. Okay, so that's 3. Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, 4, and then probably you could put a team like Georgia at 5 because of the talent.
They always, for some reason, they always end up being in it because of their defense.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do, Steve, we're gonna put a show together get closer to the season, where we're gonna talk 100% college football.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna send you.
yeah. Can't
I'm
wait
gonna
for
get.
that one.
I'm gonna get your information from you because I want you on the panel for that show because I see you have a lot of passion for college football. We're gonna bring Bruce back, and we're gonna have a nice panel here, and we're gonna discuss it.
For sure, bro. Whatever I can do to help, man. Whatever you need, just let me know.
Of course, you're gonna be part of. You're always gonna be part of this show. I know it's just number one, but I would love it. I could have you on here all day, Steve, because you have a lot of knowledge right there. But I do have to get.
Appreciate that. I'm just a useful idiot for the most part.
If nobody else is going to call in, I'll let Steve have 2 more minutes.
Hey, whatever you got to do, man. I can bounce. I don't want to overstay my welcome, bro. Whatever you want to do.
They can still get in here while you're on screen. I think I can have up to 10 guests at a time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just a bunch of prattle at that point.
No, we're never going to have that. I've seen a show on Sunday. I'm not going to call them out where they had a panel of.
I know what you're talking about.
Of 8 hosts, and it was all over the place.
Yeah, it's hard.
Sid Bubba just commented in there. What about USC? I think USC has the potential, but I don't know if they're in any early preseason top 20, top 25 right now.
Yeah,
they have the potential to possibly play into that. It's just tough. They're still transitioning to this Big Ten situation. There's a lot of travel there. I mean, I don't want to try and use travel as a scapegoat, but
no, it's Lincoln Riley
transitioned pretty well.
They did.
Lincoln Riley teams are not physical. That's the real problem.
Yeah,
they're not. He's an elite.
They were
when Pete Carroll was there.
They were complaining about the travel for once because they were trying to. Yeah. I think me and Bruce was having a little back and forth on that.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen the article, but he said that they were trying to drop the Notre Dame and
I sent it to you.
The Notre Dame rivalry because of the travel now because they're in the Big Ten, and I'm like, that's a bunch of horse shit. Excuse my language, Carlos.
I bet. We're good.
Because that's some coward shit, and I don't want to hear that from the coach of my school because I would literally, as a fan, call you out. Well, I'm actually doing it now, but I will say, Bruce, pull your strings, get me on TV. I will call you out on national TV and call you a sucker if you're trying to duck a rivalry because you're complaining about travel when you guys petitioned to be in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that will be a coward move. Like if you want to X a game, you X somebody else. Like don't play Washington no more. Don't Washington State. But this is a rivalry that's been going on since the beginning of time. Notre Dame lives for, they want to beat the hell out of those damn Trojans and vice versa. That's a rivalry that you like. That's one of those rivalries when you see the schedule, you look for when we play USC.
Yeah.
Right.
So you cannot end that. Like people were right on both sides.
Yeah, from our position, we look that as like a mainstay on the schedule. That's a team that I'll be honest with you, Laker Nation. I cheer for USC when they don't play Notre Dame. I want that game to matter.
Yes.
I want that to be
you got to have both teams good for that game. Yeah,
right. Yeah. I don't want to see USC with 5 losses by the time we play them.
Yeah,
I want to play USC undefeated. Like the year we played with Caleb Williams both times. They're ranked. It means something. I want something on the table. That way, if we do win it, it matters. I don't want it to be nothing. But back to the USC situation. Here's the thing: they have the brand to recruit to the Big Ten level to make this transition work. Like USC can go in any house in any part of the country and sell their brand. It's USC. They're one of the 5 to 6, 7 best college football programs in the country, historically. So it's like it might take a year or two, but they have that ability. And Lincoln Riley is a notable name and face where they're eventually going to be able to recruit because right now I'm not saying it is like to be shitty, but it's like they're used to a Pac-12 schedule at this point with the roster and the way they recruit now. But they have the ability to change things up to fit this Big Ten mold, where it's like, let's get some interior guys. We're gonna need some running backs. Like, we're gonna need to adjust to what this new schedule is gonna, be in front of us. So USC has, I don't think they're a top 25 team ish now, but they have the potential to be, because they got talent.
Definitely.
They have the ability, not the mentality. That's what it really is.
Right.
Oh, come on, Bruce.
Lincoln Riley, man. He's not like anyway.
But all right, Steve, I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you, fellas. I'll be in the chat.
Yes, sir. Always.
All right. Y'all stay blessed.
Always. You too, brother.
All right.
Always a good call from Steve, man.
Always a good call from Steve.
Always.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Well, if we're not going to get in any more, calls, then we'll move on to the last bit of business, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yes.
So I'm going to give about 60 seconds to see if we get any more calls before we go. So Transformer put on here that it counted that Denver won.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, that was crazy.
So it's
split second.
2-2. 2-2 now.
Yeah. And I think the Clippers were down by like 20 at one point. The Clippers?
They were.
Yeah, like 62-42 at one point.
Yeah.
I still say Clippers in 6.
Nah, that ain't happening.
I'll say Clippers in 6. We don't get any more calls. I might want to click that link and get on. Talk college football. Sid says the biggest compliment that I've seen in this chat all day for you, Carlos. He said you are a sports savant.
Carlos is on it.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Sid, man, for you don't know how much.
All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
I'll take that. All right.
Yeah, that is like the biggest. You don't know how much that means to him, though, Sid, for him to hear that.
It's true.
Because you don't understand how nervous he was before we came online.
Well, and I wasn't that nervous. Come on now, I wasn't that nervous. I wasn't that nervous.
But that is appreciated. That's more. There's more to come from this dude. Like this is just You guys gonna see.
Definitely.
You guys gonna see. Carlos knows this stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so I guess Transformer's not going to call in. I guess nobody else. So we'll go into the last bit, and like I said, everyone in the chat can vote. So what we're going to do,
all right,
is we're going to stick to football.
Football.
We're going to stick to football since we're talking football. So Carlos and Bruce, you guys are the coaches.
All right.
You have to pick your all-time. Bruce, your all-time. You for this one, you pick your all-time offense, and Carlos, you pick your all-time defense.
Oh man!
All right.
You did that on purpose, like a nation.
And no, we're gonna reverse it. You're gonna.
I was about to say because you already know I picked the defense. I'm not losing, but go ahead.
You're gonna have to. It's gonna be overall points.
I got you, man.
All right.
So how we're gonna do it is you're gonna see who you're gonna vote on whose lineup is gonna win that matchup on offense, on offense and defense, and then we're gonna do it again when they reverse. And whoever has the most votes at the end will win this matchup and be the champion of this show.
All right.
And as we grow, we'll be able to give an award to the winner as the show grows.
Nice.
Right. So that's in the works. But like I said, we want to keep this different and fun.
That is, I like it.
Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Bruce goes first.
Ooh,
right.
that's
Cool.
almost like a rap battle. It was like an 8 Mile. It was like, you go first. All right,
All right, cool.
Bruce, you the coach.
Yeah.
You pick your all-time offense.
Easy. Greatest show on turf. Bow.
You just picking the greatest show on turf is your
I'm
whole
picking the
offense.
greatest show on turf. Yep.
Which is the Rams?
Yeah. 99 Rams. Yep.
Taking the 99 Rams?
Yes, sir.
See, now you're giving Carlos a leg up because he don't have to pick a whole defense. He can pick players.
All right. That's fine.
I'm gonna pick a team here. I'm gonna pick a team.
Okay. You're gonna pick.
I'm gonna go for the Legion of Boom, Seattle.
Ooh. That's a hell of a matchup right there. Wow.
Oh, I like this matchup.
Seattle.
Yeah, that is great.
All right, so chat. We're gonna put it in the chat. Bruce picks greatest show on turf.
Yes.
That's Kurt Warner's Rams.
Yes.
I'm type Turk. What the hell is wrong with me?
Marshall
what's that? That's the 2000, 2001 Rams, right? With Marshall.
99.
The 99 Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That's Akeem,
Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall
Torrey
Falk.
Holt.
Yeah. Loaded.
All them boys.
Loaded.
And Carlos picks the Legion of Boom. The ones that knocked my Niners out from going to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
With that pick and trash talk heard around the world. Don't you ever challenge me with a mediocre receiver like Michael Crabtree.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
the Legion of Boom.
Don't you ever talk about me. Who talked about you? Crabtree.
Okay, so
yes.
So go ahead and make your picks. Whoever you can't pick both. One either Bruce, the 99 Rams, greatest show on turf offense, or Carlos with the Legion of Boom Seahawks. This is a good matchup. I can't make a pick because both of those gave my Niners problems.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's funny that they stuck to my division. Carlos, you got 2. Carlos on the 2-0 lead on you, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, them Legion of Boom was no joke, though.
Yeah.
That'd be a great matchup that I would love to see.
Hell yeah, it'd be a great matchup. That greatest show on turf is no joke.
Because that secondary that they had was they were a problem. And they and then they stuffed the run too. So
yeah. I got another offense I already chose, but I mean, just for the sake of discussion, if you want to match up with the physicality with the Legion of Boom, then you could choose the what year was that? You can choose those Vikings that went to the NFC Championship game with Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Jake Reed, Robert Smith, and what was that? Was that Warren Moon at quarterback? You could choose that offense. Crazy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he did play for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah, he did did.
Second team All-Pro.
Yeah, he sure did come over
Showed
there.
out.
Man, he looked good in that purple, though. I ain't gonna lie. Warren Moon looked good. With that purple number 1, it was cold.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So is there gonna be any more votes?
I think that's that. I don't know.
Well, I guess Carlos takes round 1.
Okay, Carlos. All right.
So Carlos has round 1.
That's okay.
Now,
I got some for him now.
All right.
Now, in the midst of a tie,
yes,
then we're gonna have a quick trivia.
Okay.
All right.
And the first to 5 will win.
Nice. Okay, I like it.
So,
all right.
So now it's reversed.
Yes.
Bruce, you're on defense.
Yes.
You can pick player by player, or you can pick a solid.
Don't need
defense.
to. Don't need
Carlos the same. You're on offense. So
all right.
Since Bruce went first on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, you go first. This is your offense.
All right. I'm gonna go players this time. I'm gonna go players. At quarterback, give me Tom Brady in his prime.
Ooh.
At QB.
Taking Tom Brady.
At running back, give me beast mode. Marshawn Lynch.
Tom Brady heading off to beast mode. I like that. Brady.
Ooh.
Let's see. At receivers, give me Randy Moss. I'm stumped here. But
I can't give you a lifeline though this time.
like last time.
I can't give you a lifeline right now.
Yeah, where I got cooked.
Because if that's the case, I have to give Bruce a lifeline, but he ain't gonna need it.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm ready.
Come on, you got beast.
All right,
you got Brady heading off the beast mode, and you got Moss on one side.
Yeah.
Give me Jerry Rice.
How about this? Jerry. Oh, Moss and Jerry.
Oof.
Give me. I'm gonna get one of Tom Brady's teammates. I'm gonna go for Julian Edelman.
In the slot.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna give one of his teammates.
It's good.
That's a solid receiver core. Shoot, that's scary.
It's good.
All right, so that's it for wide receivers, right? Or like a couple more?
Nah, you get one more.
You get one more, or tight end.
Or tight end. Yeah. However you want to do it.
All right. Give me Terrell Owens.
Oh, so he's going 4 wide on you.
Damn. Yeah, that's tough.
He's
Okay.
going 4 wide on you. No tight end.
No tight end. That's all right. Okay.
Actually, nope, no tight end.
All right.
So who's gonna be in the trenches? You can pick a group, or you can pick individuals in the trenches.
I'm picking a group. Picking a group.
No, I'm talking about Carlos for his O line.
Oh, okay, got you.
Because I know what defense Bruce is picking. And you better have a solid O line.
Oh yeah, group. Yeah, definitely a group.
I would agree. I agree, Transformer, but it was Carlos's. It was Carlos's pick. I mean, he got a solid 4 wide though. Like you line up Moss and Owens on one side, that is trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is true though. You do need run blocking with beast mode. That is true.
That is true.
Who you got in the trenches?
In the trenches, I'm not really good with offensive linemen, but
you can pick a group.
Well, I know, but like I'm not good at selecting groups for O lines. Like,
you got some solid group. You got you got Transformers' favorite. You got that Green Bay line that Elway, not Elway, that Brett Favre is untouched in the Super Bowl. You got that O line. You got the nasty boys that blocked for Emmitt Smith all them years in the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go for Green Bay. Green Bay's O line.
Yeah, that's a perfect pick because
I'll go for Green Bay. Yeah, that's way back.
That's a solid O line.
The Redskins.
All right, so we got Green Bay's O line from I think that was 96 or 97.
96.
When Favre got his first one.
Against the Patriots.
You got Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, and Julian Edelman, wide receiver. You got beast mode in the backfield. How are you defending that, Bruce?
2000 Ravens. Greatest defense of all time. Can't score on them boys.
Ed Reed, all right.
No. Ed Reed was the 2013 Ravens. That was later.
Oh.
The 2000 Ravens are the ones that average giving up 10.5 points per game for a season. I think 168 points for the entire season.
Wow.
Yeah. Did not allow a 100-yard rusher.
Ray was a young pup back then.
Yep. Knocked 6 quarterbacks out of the games and pitched 6 shutouts that year. Dominant. You can't do anything.
But they gonna have their
work cut out for them, no doubt.
They offense like that.
But guess what though? You're running 4 wide. That means you got less.
That is true.
You got
He
less
is-
blocking. They
That's
come and
true.
get Tom Brady. They're gonna kill him.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, and I do have Marshawn Lynch, but
That's true.
yeah, I do have Marshawn Lynch. Beast
Mhm.
mode.
But okay, but Transformer. Yes, you did know it would be Ravens, but if it wasn't them, it would have been the 85 Bears. So either way, you're not doing anything. But yes, it's 2008.
All right. So who wins this offense defensive matchup? That is a fair point. Well, he picked the whole group as a solid. And they gotta cover Rice and Moss and Owens and Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be all right.
Bruce, all right.
So they got Bruce. Bruce
That's
got
one.
one on this matchup.
But what you do though, since you're running 4 wide, I bring Hall of Famer Rod Woodson down closer to the line of scrimmage from the deep safety position, right? And let him play more. But then you also got to deal with Randy Moss. So damn it, Transformer man.
Transformer
It's
got me.
1-1.
Let's go.
It's 1-1.
It is 1-1.
Who's gonna be the deciding vote? It's 1-1.
Come on, somebody help me out here. Help me out here. Don't let the young buck beat me. Oh man,
That is a lot of firepower for.
It is a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
Man, because he got playmakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Ravens are crippling somebody coming across the middle. So we taking one of the playmakers out of there. We are decapitating Edelman.
Hey, but y'all whole squad overall though.
T.O. gonna get a couple of drops.
Remember, he got the Legion of Boom on the other side. So
Yeah.
out his players, he gonna take out Oz Hakeem. They're gonna take out Oz. They're gonna take out Motion.
Why you had to say that?
You said they're gonna take out one of his playmakers. I'm like,
No, you're
okay,
right,
the
you're
Legion of Boom on the sideline watching that. They're gonna be like, oh, so that's how we playing. You don't think Cam Chester not gonna come downhill and lay somebody out?
Yeah. Transformer, I think Primetime got there the next season. I think he got there the next year. He wasn't on this one.
We need one more vote.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna have me be the deciding vote.
Find out I'm gonna lose to the young fella. Okay. All right.
Y'all can't make me be the deciding vote.
That Ravens, yeah.
Yeah, that's a mean offense you put together, though, I must say.
Yeah.
We need one more vote.
That's one more.
That's right, Chief.
Period.
We need one more vote. All right, since nobody's voting.
Yeah, I think Tony, you might have to be, yeah.
I'm gonna say it's trivia time.
What happened?
Yes.
You go with Bruce?
I'm gonna say it's trivia time because
all right.
I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna be like I'm picking sides.
All right.
Okay. So, Bruce, your first question to you. What sport?
Yes.
What sport?
Football.
You want football? Okay.
Yeah.
Who set the record for the most yards passing and the most interceptions?
Oh, Favre.
All right, that's one. Carlos, what is your sport?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. This player was known as the Big Dipper. Who is this player?
Known as the Big Dipper?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a clue or no? Like air?
Yeah, he has a lot of all-time records.
73, I believe.
73. Oh, forget about
Yeah,
that.
he has the
70?
most all-time records.
Mm-hmm.
Transform.
Will. Will. Shout out Transformer.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's why I was laughing. Transformer. It's really not.
Will Chamberlain. He said that's not fair to you.
Right.
He said that's not fair to you. No.
That's way before our time.
All right, Bruce.
Oh man.
All right, Bruce.
Good save, Transformer.
What's
I will go basketball this time. I'll go basketball.
All right, basketball.
Yeah.
All right. This player was one of the originals that brought the Euro step in the game, and it's not Danny Ainge.
Let's see. Who did I see? Man. Okay, I know I saw David Robinson do it in the late 80s. It's not him. Vlade Divac?
Nope. Pistol Pete.
Oh. Okay. All right.
So Carlos, if you steal this, you win the trivia.
All right.
Okay. Wow. That's a good one.
So if you steal this, you win the trivia. What sport?
Basketball. I'm staying with basketball.
You staying with
Yeah.
He's
you staying with basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. The Heat made their debut in 1988.
Yes.
Against what team?
Oh gosh. 1988.
It's called trivia for a reason.
For real.
I know it is.
Steve.
I'll give you a hint. They're out west.
Okay. Okay, that's all
and
I
they
know.
have zero and they have 0 championships.
Damn, I gotta think about that.
They're in the Pacific Division.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Pacific Division. The Clippers?
Yes, you got it right. Oh, it was the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was the very first game.
That's a good one.
In Miami's franchise history, that Clippers
Wow.
actually had to come back and beat them.
88. Danny Manning was on that team.
They,
there we go.
Yeah, the Clippers actually came back and beat them.
Mhm.
Yes. Carlos, good job, man.
Oh my goodness.
Wild West, yeah.
All right. I believe
Ronnie
so,
Cycli-
Sid Bubba.
yeah, Ronnie Cycli was on.
Ronnie
that.
Cycli, Keith Askew, and those guys. Yeah.
So Carlos wins the first matchup.
Wow. All right, Carlos.
Yes,
Good
sir.
job. Good job, Carlos.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And y'all
Thank
can
you,
see
thank
my
you.
man has his basketball knowledge.
Yeah.
I'll take time for one more call before we rise up out of here.
The Big Dipper was your question for him. Tony.
Hey, Transformer, it's called trivia for a reason.
Oh, that's classic. That's classic.
Hey, it's called trivia for a reason, Transformer. All right.
man.
All right. So the way we go out, Bruce.
Yes.
We're gonna say to be ready, and then you say stay ready for Be Ready Sports.
Okay.
And that's how we get. That's how we go out.
All right.
So,
All right.
So count of 3, Carlos. Let's take us home.
All right. 1, 2, 3. To be ready.
Stay ready.
Oh,
All right.
really, Sid?
What?
Sid you gonna call when we about to wrap it up.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Man, we got a high schooler here. We got to get them all. Sid, man, we got a high schooler here, man.
All right.
It's Saturday night in LA. Hey,
his mom know where I live. She gonna pull up on me like, why you got my son online for 3 hours? It was supposed to be a quick show.
Oh man.
Supposed to be. What? Shoot, almost 3
Oh,
hours.
the Warriors were on. That's right.
okay.
What you got? What you got, Sid?
You good.
Sid, you froze.
Oh, there we
You know
go.
what? I was thinking that though. I was gonna say, we ready.
For copyright reasons, I can't do that.
Oh.
I know, right? Yeah, they don't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that NFL don't play, boy. They don't care that you were starting out. They were like, this will be our first and last episode.
Oh my goodness.
What you got, Chief?
That was about it. Let's go commend Carlos for the victory. Not many can get one on the captain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Impressive.
But,
That's all I wanted to say.
I had to get him with the Pistol Pete question because I gave him I thought about it after. It's like, man, this dude, I gave him a softball with the Brent Favre one.
Oh man.
I was like, I got to make him think about this one. So that's why I hit him with the Euro question. Yeah, people don't realize that Pistol Pete was that dude. And a lot of stuff that you see in the game today, he brought it into the game, and he was called for travels and a lot of for that, because those were legal moves even back then, but they never seen it before.
Yeah.
So they were like,
yeah,
nope, that's like they were complaining that like he can't do that. You got ref.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
David Robinson came home from the '88 Olympics, and he did the Euro step in the NBA. It was a clean Euro, 1-2, and he got called for travel because they were like, they didn't know how to officiate it, but it was clean if you look at it. They had never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that move that you see Rondo do all the time with the Celtics, that fake wraparound lay.
Mm-hmm.
Pistol did that. Pistol did that all the time.
Yes, he did.
He did that finger roll from the free throw line. He just came down court, hold that ball up high, put it behind his head, and just finger rolled at it. Man, Pistol was insane.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a 3-point line then. And
Yeah,
he used to hit those from out there.
Yeah, they I think it was Dale Brown did the math on it, charted every shot he took in college. They said if they had threes back then, he'd average 58 in college.
Yeah, Pistol was insane.
Yeah, he was.
We're gonna have to have a actual phone for you, Sid, because boy, you be live and on cut when we had the phone. Now we see your face. You ain't got you staring at us, brother.
Okay.
Oh man.
No, I was just commending Carlos stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Shout out. Keep watching, man. This is just the beginning, man. Carlos got a lot of knowledge in that noggin.
That's right.
He does.
All right, Transformer. I see you in the studio.
Yeah, there he is.
What up?
There he is.
Oh,
what's going on, fellas?
He keeping up with the green theme, and he brought it coming in with the pack. He on your side though. He's jumping down my neck about that Will Chamberlain question. He's like, man, what the heck?
Look here, man. That man is in high school.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask this man, who did they call the Big Dipper? I looked at this phone and said, no way he asked that man that question. He looked completely, he was like, oh my God.
That's a legit basketball question, though.
But Transformer. What? You gonna see, the more you watch, this boy right here knows a lot of sports history.
There you go.
All right.
Well, tell me he didn't know the Big Dipper.
Nah,
Yeah, you got him on that one.
Clearly, you stumped him to death with that one. Okay.
Oh man.
Oh God. But no, guys, great
All right.
show that you guys are putting on, man. I'm proud of you, Tony. See what
Yeah.
you're doing over there, man. You're starting it off humble, and you stay humble. You're gonna always be ready to be great, right?
That's right.
Yes, it's a great show so far. I've been very entertained with being tuned in. Sorry, Bruce, that Carlos stumped you twice in the battle of offense and defense. I told you, man, you could have picked the base of the Ravens. Put Darrelle Revis on as your corner, though, man. Get Darrelle as one of the corners. Put Prime as the other corner. Okay, now you're gonna shut it all down.
He would have shut it down. He would have shut it down, dude.
You got all four of them at the receiver, man. Tom is running quick outs all day.
Yeah.
I'm taking my defense into
Because the weakness of that 2000 Ravens were their corners.
Was the corners. So you got it. Everything's gonna be quick and out the pocket. Like nope.
Yeah.
Snap. Nope. I'm throwing. I'm out.
He got 4
'Cause
wide.
He know
He
Ray
ain't about to
coming.
hold that. Yeah, he's not about to hold that. He got 4 wide.
He know Ray is coming.
Yes.
But no, man.
Ray coming, Goose. Yeah.
Yeah, no, bump that. Not Goose. Don't talk about Goose. Only Shannon Sharp talk about Goose.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody talk about Goose. Yeah, that's his boy right there. But no, man, great segment so far. I forgot literally the segment I was going to start off with, but you guys were speaking on Shedeur Sanders earlier. Me and Bruce had a long discussion about Shedeur Sanders earlier.
Yeah,
I just don't believe in a lot of what the he say she say is about the interview portion, especially when it got to the point where now they're saying he's bashing teammates. This man ain't never say anything in 4 years of college. The last 2 years of college, he's been getting sacked more than a hacky sack ball in the high school playground, right? The hacky, y'all know what the hacky sack ball, the one with you kick around with your feet.
Yes, I know what a hacky sack ball is, man.
Okay, you look stumped like my man on the Big Dipper question. All right,
Nah,
so,
man, I know what
looked a little stumped.
is, man. Come on, man.
but he was getting sacked more than anything when he played for Colorado, and yet not one point in any game did he ever blame his line. Did he ever throw anybody under the bus? He always reflected the blame back on himself. I need to do better. I need to get the ball out quicker. I need to read that play faster. So a lot of like what I've seen on tape and what I've seen in those interviews, the ones that truly matter to the public and what you're talking about when people say accountability portion, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. So to hear somebody anonymously say these things about what Shedeur was saying in this interview or whatever the case may be, I have no reason to believe that. Because I would have seen that type of character in the 4 years that he played in collegiate football, right? So that's my biggest thing there. A lot of this whole back and forth with the picks, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap that all up. I still think he was mistreated. Being drafted 5th, being a top 5 prospect, being drafted in the 5th round on day 3, I think is extremely absurd. But I'm going to move past that because you guys, nailed that a lot. The Cleveland Browns. God. The Cleveland Browns. My God. I'm going to pray for Shedeur Sanders to come out on top because Cleveland is where you go to die as a quarterback, man. It's not good, man.
Yeah, you was the one that said that on the show. You said Cleveland.
I don't see we haven't seen the Cleveland Browns are like the Chicago Bears. For some odd reason, quarterbacks are cursed in Cleveland. They can have a run game, they can have an offensive line, they can have a defense, but every time they try to strike on a quarterback, it just all of a sudden goes left, it goes right, it goes northeast, it goes southwest, it goes anywhere but straight. A straight line to where we got our quarterback. He's going to be great. We're in the playoffs. We're a contender. We're going to matter. It just hasn't been done for those guys, man. So I just hope that he does great. I do like that he already has leaders that's there. Myles Garrett is already there. He's going to be there for the foreseeable future. And that's a cornerstone mouthpiece to kind of help mentor or take on a lot of the interviews for him to kind of help him as a rookie kind of get past this little hump, this hurdle that he's going through. The quarterback room is going to be filled, but I believe in Shedeur. I think Shedeur is going to come out on top. I don't think Dillon is going to be much of a threat. I think Cleveland is going to truly find out why Shedeur Sanders is special. They're going to find that out ASAP. Kenny Pickett, you got him there for a reason, just as a backup. Joe Flacco, you have him there for a reason as your bridge backup guy for the next guy who I believe is going to be Shedeur Sanders, man. So I think the sky's the limit for him. I'm hoping that Stefanski and those guys get on the phone with Deion and really start to pick Deion's brain on, tools to sharpen in their tool belt to get this kid to be successful, because I think he has the potential to really be successful in this league. Not saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, just be a successful quarterback, a Josh Allen, if you would say. Just be a very great quarterback and always be in that contention to be a great player. So that's that on that. You guys touched on the NBA a little bit. As you can see, the Clippers had a nail biter literally at the buzzer. It wasn't even an alley. I think Jokic was really trying to shoot a three. That's what it looks like. He really tried to take a jump shot. He just overshot it over the rim, and Aaron Gordon was just right there. No, I got it, B. I got it. And he was able to put it in the rim.
Like that Blake Griffin commercial.
Like the Blake Griffin commercial, man. So I think that's one of the more exciting series other than Golden State and Houston for me. They're playing right now, and they're having a great game. Who's coming out of the West? Man, it's Lakers, bro. What are we talking about, man? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Even though it's impossible in this series, but fifth. 5 games, man.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5, man. Lakers in 5 with a side of fries, man. That's what we got going on with the Timberwolves. But no, man. As far as the West, it's really going to be the West.
The whole show is green. Stop it, Bruce.
And I'm wearing green. My eyes are green. Look at them, Bruce. Like
man,
the logo is green.
Dang.
That's Packer green. that's not Celtics Kelly green, man. That's not the same green, man.
Yeah, because that's just stupid. Anyway,
no,
as far as the West, man, I truly think it's going to come down to who's healthier, who has that extra game of rest. I lean towards nobody in the West, man. That's how strong of a fight it is out there. Clippers look good for now while Kawhi's healthy, but like I said, for now, because tomorrow them knees could be fragile. Golden State is Golden State. They got the pedigree of a champion. They've done it before. They could do it again. OKC, could they be on the way up? Could they finally got a taste of what it's like to be in the playoffs and be successful? I don't know. Denver's already been there, so they're defending. So it's a lot of teams, man. I can't count the Lakers out with LeBron and Luka Doncic. So it's truly just going to be a slaughter slugfest to whoever gets to that conference finals. Man, be prepared to probably lose to Cleveland or Boston in the championship, because you're fighting so hard to get to the top of the mountain in the West. What's going to be left for you when the finals is here, right? That's what I see, man. Boston truly has nobody to threaten the throne other than Cleveland, in my opinion. Cleveland truly has nobody to threaten them other than Boston. So they're literally going to be, not going to say a cakewalk like it was for Boston last year, but it's going to be a fairly easier road for one of those teams to make it. So I think they're going to be rightfully healthy, be able to rest those guys, and be able to just beat up what's left of what's coming out of the Western Conference. So is it possible for Boston to repeat? I would say yes. It hurts me to say it, but I would say yes. But my other choice would be Cleveland. I would love to see that series go 7 and Cleveland to come out on top, man. So the NBA isn't okay, Bruce. I know the most championships in the NBA. The green is what matters, right? The Boston Celtics are the best team ever. You happy?
I mean, it didn't sound very convincing, but I'll take it.
Carlos, welcome to the Format Podcast.
Yeah, I know.
the first time.
Rivalry at its finest, okay?
Yes.
Rivalry
Yes,
at its
indeed.
finest.
Yeah.
Man. I don't like anything Boston Celtic other than respect for Larry Legend. That is it. All you get from me.
Yeah,
All
Larry
you
Legend.
get. That's the greatest white man to ever touch a basketball. All right? To ever touch a basketball. That's him. That is that guy, not Jokic, not nobody else. It is Larry Bird. I will give you that. But no, man, other than that, great show. You guys had a lot of points. You guys had a lot of topics, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys be. I know my kiddo, he probably got a curfew, even though it's the weekend and I'm trying to figure out how. You're a senior, right, Carlos?
No, junior.
Junior. So you kind of still got a little leash, but you're not quite off the leash
Not
yet.
much.
So
Not
we're gonna
quite.
let's go ahead and get my kid to bed, man. I don't want to get cursed out by mom. Dude.
Yeah, it's about. Yeah, he needs to go eat. He got not trying to make you sound like a little kid, but you do got to go eat.
Hey, you need your nutrients, man. You need
That's
your
right.
nutrients. That's
Still
for sure,
growing.
man.
He's still
It's
growing.
Still growing. Yeah, still growing. Still growing, bro. But no, man, great show, man. If you guys got any questions for me, throw them at me. But other than that, man, I'm gonna let you guys go and be great.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. Thanks for the feedback on the show. We greatly appreciate it. I thank you for calling in. Because hey, you guys graced me on your show. I thank you for paying it forward and gracing me on my on our show for the first episode. We love it, and we'll love to have you come in and have these discussions again.
Yeah, we'll do that when the Lakers in the finals and beating the crap out of the Celtics this year. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. Yeah.
But, I think y'all need to stick to that Saturday morning in between because y'all got a lot of traffic today.
It was the topic. The topic was trending. The topic was
cooking,
hot.
Yeah. But maybe experiment next weekend. Maybe hit that slot next weekend with
Yeah,
another hot topic.
We honestly used to do Saturday mornings. So
Sorry,
I mean, it wasn't more so the time slot. It was more so the topic. I called Bruce first thing this morning when I woke up. I'm like, hey Bruce, man, we need to go live.
That's exactly
we gotta go live.
That's exactly how he sounded.
I can see that. I can see Carlos doing me that way one day too. He's like, hey, Tony, hey, we need to go live, man.
Yeah,
go live.
Strike
we already out there. We need to go live. I'm like, oh man, come on, man.
So give me 20 minutes. Let me do an overlay and a thumbappreciate I got you. Let's go.
Yeah, we was ready to rock too. Ready to rock, man. It was a great show, though, man. We enjoyed it. But
appreciate you, Transformer.
Absolutely.
I will tune in tomorrow morning with the Format Podcast. They do go live on Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Or are you guys going after
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yep.
10 a.m. live every Sunday morning and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. You will catch the Format Podcast. The link is in the description of this video. Click the link, like and subscribe to the Format Podcast. What you heard just now, you are here for 2 straight hours with them two, man. They are the reason why that inspired me to get on here and create the Be Ready Sports.
That's
sir. Yes, sir, man.
Glad
Going to be great, man. Going to be great.
Don't go anywhere, Transformer. As of yet, don't go anywhere. You're gonna count us out with Bruce.
Oh, okay.
And you're gonna count us out.
Oh, okay.
Bruce. Yeah, you're gonna count us out with Bruce. So Bruce, I kind of like said it, but tell everyone we're gonna do this with all our guests. Tell the audience where they can find you. Tell them your Instagrams.
Yeah.
Of course, we talked about your podcast, but you can talk about that before we let you go.
Yeah, so as they mentioned, man, Transformer and I and our other partner G, we host the Format Podcast, and we go live at random times depending on what's happening. But generally, we do a Wednesday night show midweek, and then we do a Sunday morning show at 10 o'clock. So we'll have a show tomorrow morning, and you can catch me on Instagram at the Format Podcast. And yeah, there we go.
Right. And Transformer.
Hey man, everything Bruce just said. We come with energy. We come with facts. Over feelings.
We
Unless
do.
you start talking about my Lakers. After that, the feelings kick in. The feelings kick in.
All right.
But no, man, we'd love for you to come and join us, man. I'm __transformer on Instagram. Again, co-host of my boy Bruce here at the Format Podcast. Man, we'd love to appreciate you guys for coming to see and check us out tomorrow at 10.
Awesome. Now, Carlos,
All right.
count us out.
All right. Y'all ready? All right.
We ready.
To be ready.
Stay ready.
Stay ready.
And we out.
All right.
Peace.
Deuces.